Well, good evening, folks. It's good to see you again. It's good to be doing a stream. I don't know why you guys have got such a hang up on me having the graphics up, but it's new. It's something fresh. I thought I'd try to do it a bit differently. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. Who have we got on the chat? I think I've seen Kaz and Stocks. Good afternoon, gentlemen. It's good to see you. Toby's here as well. So afternoon, Toby. Hope your leg's feeling better after today. You need to tell me all about that and show me it later on as well. We've got Medieval Genius, who should have their Hyper 7 by now. I'm hoping that's the case. And you should also got your Artisan as well. So if you have done, well done. And I can't wait to see pictures of what you do. Who else have we got? Martin's in the chat. Hey Martin, thanks for watching. Keyboards are lame. Yes, Max, keyboards are lame. We've got Glue, Dean, my brother from another mother. Good to see you in the chat, man. Quadipos, good to see you, dude. I don't recognise your username, but glad to see you on stream. The music's not Cannibal Corpse. No, not tonight. Not tonight. Yeah, I can't wait to see it, Toby. Yeah, as soon as I'm down, I definitely want to see that. Definitely want to see it. Ryan. Okay, now I get it. Now I get it. Good to see you again, Ryan. Good to see you again. Yeah, so we're going to do a bit of a lubing guide in a little bit, just while the stream warms up a little bit, and then we're going to build the keyboard 661 tonight, folks. So we've got a bit of a plate and PCB, and then the case as well. So I'll show you guys that. Nice cyan interior, silver alloy. It's nice enough, it does the job. So we're going to give that a build, see how it goes. I've done most of the switches so far already, so we're just going to use some lubed retooled blacks today. Not my favourite switch, but not a terrible switch by any means. I was talking about something else, was I, Toby? Yeah, sure, okay. I always see the backs of Toby's legs. Yes, that's something that I always see. Hopefully you guys can see that the chat's now showing up on stream, so it should be somewhere around here on the screen. Try and get my hand under it, somewhere around here. I can't see on the preview, so I hope it is. If it's not, tell me, because I want to have it on the VODs when I'm saving the VODs. Yeah, so that's what we're going to build today. In terms of a key set, I haven't really decided what key set's going to go on this one yet, but just for now what we're going to do is going to put this on there, which is a red and black GMK key set. It's from Originative. I can't remember the name. I've never used it. It's just been sat in a bag since I got it, so we're going to use that on the board once it's built, and then we'll decide from there. As always, we're going to use some lovely stabs from Fax. Fax is a legend. He's just called me boring, but I'm calling him a legend all at the same time. So thanks very much for that, Fax. Yep, some standard GMK screw-in stabs that we're going to clip and lube as always. I think I've got about 50 of the 2U ones lying around. I found a drawer full of them when I don't use a full packet, and I just chuck them in a drawer. Oh, now he sends the heart. Best man Jay. Yeah, well, there we go. That's Fax. And just in other news as well, I know I've teased it on stream before, but what I think is my true Endgame is on its way. I was hoping it'd be here today so I could do a bit of an unboxing and show you guys. It's not here quite yet. It's still stuck in UK customs, which means I've probably got a hefty bill coming for it. But in other news, Laser Boost have been absolute legends, and they're hooking me up with a plate for it. So we're going to be going with the copper meme again, and as soon as that arrives as well, that's due to ship on Tuesday, straight after the bank holiday. I'll show you that and guys that on stream as well. But it should be very similar to the copper plate that I had done for the Noxry X75 prototype that we had on the last stream. As well, for the next bit as well, I'm also for that board as well. I'm not going to tell you quite what it is yet, but I'm also looking at some Zelio stems. So we've got multiple colours in here, but they're all Zelios, not Xylants or anything like that. So we're going to use these and try and make the board look a little bit sexy using different shades of the stems in some panda housings. So Pandelios or Xanders, depending on where you're from, that's what's going to be going in the board. Yes, it will be untreated copper. I like metal to get a patina over time. Very much so with brass, same with copper. I want it to change and I want to see it naturally progress. If it gets to a position where it's starting to deteriorate too much, I can always strip the board down and clear coat it and protect it that way. But I would like it to age well and get that patina on it. That's definitely what I want to do. Yeah, thank you, Kaz, for agreeing. So guys, just let me know if the chat is showing up somewhere around here on stream. I can't see it on there, so I hope it is. Just give me a yay or a nay, and then I know whether it's going to be in the VODs or not. I like them. Oh, the chat is there. Good. Glad to see the chat. But it's kind of small. Oh, is it kind of small? Okay, I'll work on that for the next stream. I'll have a look at it afterwards, and I'll try and make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Well, I can't fix it mid-stream, but we'll look at it. Fortunately, there's no way to test it as far as I could find. Literally unusable. Oh well. That's that. Jay likes them aged well. I do like things aged, yes, which is why I like Chris so much. But yeah, we'll see where we get to from there. So, anyway, to start off the stream, what I wanted to do today was just show you the method I learned for lubing linear switches from Max. So I'm going to call Max out on this one. Exactly 24 years old, exactly to the minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the way that Max taught me through a text chat once to lube switches. I like it for linears. I don't use linears that often, but this works for me. The lube I've got here is Krytox 104, which came from Cal's a little while back, but I know that Jamos or James is looking to try and sort that out. As a bit of a new vendor for lube, and of course all of the usual vendors sell it as well. So that's what we're going to use today. I've done most of the switches, as I said. Yeah, I don't know anything about keyboards. What's the keyboard? Is it like a musical instrument? Should we get one in keyboards up here and use that? I don't know. We can have a look at that. Toby's just said that Jay uses MX Browns in his Endgame. I won't be using MX Browns in my Endgame, Toby, but I will be using Zelios in Panda Housings, so that's what we'll be going with. But thank you very much for that, Toby. I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know anything about keyboards. I just make it up as I go along, and I just do what Max told me to do. I learned everything I know from Max. So yeah, so if anything looks wrong or is a bit crap, blame Max. That's the way to do it. So what we'll do is we'll jump into lubing some of these switches. These are the last ones I've got to do, so there's not too many of them. There's just a few, so I'll cover my lubing methodology on here. Again, if you've got any questions, shout up in chat, happy to answer them. There's a couple of hot topics in the community I want to talk about after we lube the switches before we build the board. So then we'll cover that off, and then we'll look at the board in a bit more detail as well, how it's constructed, because the kit's actually a little bit different to what I thought it was. It's not really a tray, well, it's not a tray mount at all, and it's not really a top mount. It's quite an interesting little design, so we'll take a look at that as well. Interpretive dance, please, Jay. Just give me the gist, then I'll be sated and so on to rap happy. So, Chris, just for you, this is my stream where we're going to lube some switches. I hope that worked out for you, Chris. I hope you like that. We've got Quer in the chat as well. Quer, thank you ever so much for having me on your podcast earlier on in the week. This was one of the things I was going to talk about later on. But if you guys haven't seen it yet, please do go check out the International Kit podcast. It features yours truly as well as Quer and Egler, who are the hosts, doing a bit of an interview with me. It's amazing. So go listen to it, guys. Bit of self-promotion there, but hey, never hurt anyone. Toby's linked it in the chat. Well done, Toby, thank you. So go have a look at that, guys. Listen to it, download it, get it in your podcast players. Egler's got instructions on how to get into pretty much any podcast player. He had to help me out with that earlier on because I have no idea what I'm doing. I know a little bit of sign language stocks, but it's probably not the right thing to do. Oh, and Egler joins the chat just as I'm talking about him as well. So we've got Quer and Egler in the chat. They ran the international kit, or they run the international kit. Sorry, they interviewed me. It was a really good fun time. I'm really sad that I'm not going to be on every episode because I really enjoyed doing it. There we go. I've got links going up as well, and I'll link them in the VOD description afterwards when it goes onto YouTube for anyone catching up. So I think they've got their second episode coming up, so keep your eyes out for that. But right, on to lubing switches. So as I said earlier on, I've been doing some of these switches today. I've done somewhere in the region of about 60-ish. I can't remember exactly how many I need for this build, but I've got enough and there will be some spares as well. So, Koya says, oh, they had a blast recording that with me. Thank you very much. Really enjoyed it. Always managed to get a bit of what in the eyes. I don't want to know. Stocks. You do you though, boo. You do you. So, as I said before, this is Krytox 104 lube. Now I've already lubed the springs that are in the bag. These actually came from another build, but they are 125 gram sprit springs, which is what we're going to be using today. So these are going to be heavy switches. I don't like light switches, and if you've seen any of my recent typing videos, you will see why I don't like light switches, because I'm not a light typer. I do hit the keys quite hard, so it's one of those things we'll have a field day with when I do the typing test for this afterwards. But as I said, what we're going to do is going to lube these switches. So to start off on the housings, what I do is I get a little bit of lube on the brush, just enough to be able to see the brush glisten. Wipe off the excess. You don't want too much on there. You just literally want to be able to see it glisten on the brush. I don't think the camera will pick that up. It wants to look wet but not have a bead of lube on there. Into the switch. We're going to do this top switch here, and round the base, just nice broad stroke. Up one side of the slider rail, back into the bottom, up the other side of the slider rail, and then with what's left on the brush, because there's always going to be some lube on there, like paint, you'll always have some lube on there, into the stem mount in the centre, and roll it around the edge of the stem mount. I'm trying to emphasise the action that I'm doing there, rolling it around, just to lube that up nicely as well. And that's how I lube the bases, so we'll go on and we'll do a few more. As I say, guys, if you've got any questions. Heavy boys, wow, yeah, they will be really heavy. Be gentle. I can't be gentle, Max. You know what I'm like from personal experience, dude. Span, yeah, 125 grams of light springs for you. That's very true. But for me, they're probably just about right from a linear perspective. If the switch is tactile, I can do a bit lighter, usually about 80 grams. But yes. Max doesn't lube the internal slider rails. Okay, well, this is just the way I do it then. It's not Max's. If Max is telling me something different now. So as I said, into the bottom of the housing, around the base, up one slider side, up the other slider side, nice and slowly, into the stem mount in the bottom, rock the paintbrush round with a little bit of lube on. Just realised I missed this one as well. There we go. Nicely done. That's the first three done. We'll just finish off this row. Try and get it done nice and quickly. So into the bottom, around the base, up one slider rail, back in, up the other slider rail, and then rock it around the stem insert as well. Stock says I could dunk the entire switch in lube and still get a scratchy switch at the end. It's all practice and patience, my friend. The first set of switches that I lubed, I way over lubed them. There is such a thing as putting too much lube on. It's much better to lube your switches twice to get the right amount of lube on there than it is to over lube them and have to clean them and get an ultrasonic cleaner and everything else like that. That's more pain than you want to go through. Don't spill your vial all over the desk like you did. No, I won't. But I will. What I will try and show you on camera, if I can, is this is a 10mm tube. I did spill it the other day. It's now at 7mm or so. It has lubed 2 keyboards before, but I lost probably 1.5 mil just by knocking it over and not catching it in time. It was just one of those things, a bad accident. Yeah, as Max says there, lube should add to the switch that you have. So if you've got a bad switch, lube isn't going to be a magic fix for it. In terms of lubing, lube will make a good switch better, but it won't make a bad switch good. So that's the way I like to do it. Yeah, otherwise you're just feeling the lube. Yes, yeah, which isn't what you want. You want to be able to feel what you're doing with the switch. You want to be able to feel the key presses. It's not good to have squishy or over lubed switches where you can feel the lube. I mean, sometimes what'll happen is if you over lube a switch, is the stem will catch in the bottom and it'll feel gunky and it'll squish and it'll not pop back up properly, and it's just one of those things. But no, Max, no one's going to burn you at the stake. I agree with you completely. It's absolutely one of those things. So yeah. It's all based on preference. All based on preference. So that's the first row done. Again, so into the base of the switch, rock it round the base, up one of the slider rails, up the other slider rail, just making sure you get a nice even coverage, and then using what's left on the brush into the switch hole at the centre, the stem hole, the stem slot, can't remember the name of it. Making sure you don't put too much lube on there. And the trick to this is making sure you've got the same amount of lube on your brush every time. Otherwise you end up with inconsistent switches. So this is an art form in itself. Just making sure you've got the right amount of lube on the brush. And that's the way I do that, is I just go by sight. So if I can see a glob of lube on the brush, I know it's too much, try and take it off. Oh, we've got Gouty in the chat as well. Good evening, Gouty. It'll be like throwing a hot dog down a very slippery hallway. Yeah, that's one good analogy. That's one way of doing it. It's probably not the best way. Martin, I ruined about 68 gap browns by overlubing. Not a great switch in the first place. But yes, you can overlube those and ruin the switch. You can overlube anything and ruin the switch. It's all about a practice in patience, time, and taking effort. Yes, Gary, we were talking exactly about your mum. She's a lovely lady. I can't wait to see her again. Okay, so we'll just try and finish off these switches fairly quickly. So around the base inside, up one slider rail, up the other slider rail, and then into the center mount point for the stem. Rock it around the center mount point, and that just removes a scratch from where the stem comes down. I mean, retooled blacks are relatively smooth anyway. They're not a scratchy switch compared to some others, especially the ones we had on stream last week. The Utami Sky, their stock are quite scratchy. But actually, to be honest, the keyboard just beside me is bedded in really well over the past week or so. I'm getting more and more impressed with the RO59 lube for tactile switches. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as I expected it to be. Not that I expected it to be particularly bad. I thought it would definitely fix the switches to some extent, but it's probably turning out a lot better than I expected it, if I'm quite honest. Okay, so just try and blast through these switches a little bit quicker. Again, just checking how much lube you've got. So into the base, around the base, spread the brush out a little bit, up one slider rail, up the other slider rail, into the central stem mount, rock the brush around a little bit, and then onto the next one. Tobble's finally collected package from upstairs neighbours after a week of trying. Good lad. Can't remember which one is the single fit girl and which is the married fit girl. Well, if they're both fit, mate, that's all that matters. Called a triangle. Oh, you flex a tattoo. Nice, nice. I'm not going to spill it. What I'm doing actually here is I'm holding it sideways, but it's not at too much of an angle. If you can see, it's that sort of angle. And the reason I'm doing that is so that I can keep my finger so I know which switch I've lubed. While I'm talking, I struggle to keep track of which switches I'm lubing or not. So in before everyone in chat tells me I'm re-lubing a switch I've already lubed. But it's not enough of an angle to spill. Okay, we'll just finish these off and then we'll really quickly show you the next method of lubing. So the other thing as well is these springs are already lubed, they've come out of another build, they don't need re-lubing. They literally just need putting straight in. I will show you how I would lube a spring though, even though I will actually do it. It's very, very much the same as my tactile guide that I showed you with the RF59 lube last week. Oh, we've got Future Crime, man. Mr. LZST himself with the polycarb. It was thanks to you, dude, that I bought the polycarb Singer and a couple of others as well. Good to see you, dude. And I've missed you at the meetup. Where were you, man? Where were you? Why were you not at the meetup? Anyway, right, on to the next part now. So that's all of these bases lubed. So here we go with the springs. So as I said, these are 125 gram sprit springs. These are pre-lubed. Warden's streaming as well. Okay, no wonder my my stream will do poorly tonight then. I'll expect it to drop. Thanks for advertising Warden on there as well, facts. No, Warden's a good lad. I like Warden, he's a nice bloke. So for this bit, just drop the springs in. As I say, these are already lubed. So I'm not going to re-lube them, but I will show you how I would lube them. Let's go raid Warden. Maybe after the stream, maybe after the stream. Okay, so we're just popping the springs in, nice and gently, nice and easily. Word on stream will be the same as always. New custom with Nixie build. That's what I'll be doing. Going to watch Word on because he wears gloves. Okay, so I have a problem with gloves. My fingers are short and fat, as you can see, and I can never get gloves that fit my fingers and fit my palms. So my palms tend to take a size large. My fingers take a size small. I can't get gloves to fit me. So if someone else is wearing gloves, great for them. But I just can't. Spring's escaping with me. Gouty, shut up in my stubby little fingers. Oh, throwing springs around. Grab them in a minute. I had a family gathering in Bournemouth. Was gutted to miss me. Oh, I hope you're at the next one, man. I really hope you're at the next one. And there's Max with the link. Everyone's gonna bugger off and see this. What you should be doing, you should be going on to his stream and promoting mine. That's what you should be doing, guys. Okay, we've got some springs that are stuck together here. There we go. Tobble's quad anchor. We planned a raid on his cave, but we were ratted out. I would love to see Wodan's man cave. I know that Fax has visited him quite recently, and yeah, that must have been a pretty amazing sight because he's got some really big collection. I thought my collection was good, but seeing some of the pictures he posted on Death Authority the other week, it's a significantly massive collection. It's just huge. Future Crime's going to be at the London one for sure. Good, glad to hear it, dude. I would love to see you again, catch up and have a chat with you, dude. And there's a Scotland meetup as well that Stocks is arranging. Yeah, it'd be good to get to the Scotland one as well. I think I'll definitely be up for that StockX whenever it happens. So you just need to let me know when and where you need me, and I'll be there. Oh, he's doing a recycle haul. I quite like his streams when he does the recycle hauls. I think it's quite good. He's usually a pretty dope guy for that kind of stuff. I don't know how he manages to find all that stuff. I would love to be able to, but you know, that's what it is. So the stock says the Scotland meetup's in his bed. Fine. Okay, we can do that. That sounds fine to me. Okay. So I'm not actually going to lube the springs here, but I'll show you what I would do if I was going to do it. So again, I'd go into the lube until there's a tiny bead on the end of the brush. As soon as a tiny bead is on the end of the brush, I would touch the top of the spring. I would roll the brush around the edge of the spring, and then I would let the lube run down the spring naturally. I don't like bag lubing. I prefer to do it this way. So yeah, that's the way I would do that. The next step though is to look at the stems. So these are the stems that we've got, just normal black stems. What I do on these for lubing is I will lube the slider rail on one side, I'll lube the slider rail on the other side of the switch, and then the two prongs on the front. You can just see there, if that's going to focus, I think you can see them. I just put a tiny bit of lube on those as well, so it rubs over the contact leaves nice and smoothly. Future comment, he's got a man on the inside of the recycling plant. Well, that makes sense. I need to do that as well. Yes, West Foxtrot, very funny. Thank you for that. Yeah, I need to potentially try and do that. I do have a Nixie board behind me that I'm going to dismantle in a couple of weeks. In fact, actually, I might do a stream later on in the bank holiday weekend for that, where I disassemble that and desolder it. So look out for that one as well. You don't put lube on top of the slider rail, makes a nice difference in sound. No, personally I don't, but then again I don't use linears very often. This is just the way I do the linears. Cowie's being shilly for me on Word on stream. I was only joking about that, man. I didn't mean it. Wadden's a good guy, and I suspect more people will jump from here to there than from there to here. He's much more popular. So again, a little bit of lube on the brush. Again, not enough so that you can see it. I did just say, my wife's just asked me if I said lube. It's not porn, no, baby. It's lubing switches. It's lube guiding 101 with Jay. So that was my wife, folks. I'm sure you could hear her. She's laughing her head off now, and she's off. So as I say, what I do is I put a little bit of lube on the slider rail and on the side of the housing, just on the front as well, where it contacts with the leaf. Flip it over, do the same again. Brushing more off than on, so you don't want a thick layer here, you just want a thin layer of the lube. Just make sure it covers it nicely, and then once that's done, I just then slide the stem into the housing and do it that way. I have one viewer more. Well, I don't mind. Ellie lube me. Okay, that's not happening. She's my wife. Ellie is all the lube you need. It may be porn for some of us. Jay looking sexy as fuck and lubing. Okay, fair. Okay, I'll take that compliment. Thank you very much. You can probably just see my belly with the lights coming off of the desk on it. Way too much lube on there. Not paying attention. Do you do the entire side or just sides back? So it's probably not going to focus. I need a bit of camera, but I do the whole side because there's always going to be contact points, especially if you get an off-center hit. Now, I wouldn't do that if it was a tactile switch. I would just literally do the slider rail, but on a linear switch, I would rather have it completely and utterly smooth than try and keep. Obviously, I'm not trying to keep any tactility like I am with the tactile switches and the tactile stems. So for these, I just lube the whole side and then the front. So basically, anywhere it's going to touch the bottom part of the switch. I don't lube the front and the back. I know some people do, where it contacts the housing, the top housing, but I don't do that just because I don't like it, and it's an extra step. It's probably a bit too much in my opinion. So there we go. One dip in the lube can last you more than one slider. Don't be afraid to use it for multiple sliders if you're getting multiple stems, if you're getting the coverage you need. We officially just made friends with the neighbours. Nice. Going to pub with him in a couple of weeks. Secret. Okay, you just told 20 viewers and me, and I'll tell everyone, so that's that. Just doing another one on the sides here, and then slider rails on the front. Just nicely lube them. Don't put too much on. If you dislike it, you can always take these apart and re-lube them. It's just one of those things. Thank you for the word on update, Max. I fully expect he will have more viewers. He's much more well known in the community than I am. and desoldering old boards is probably a lot more exciting than watching me lube a few stems and switches. But I do thank you guys for your support. It's nice to be able to do this sort of thing for you guys. You can make friends. Yeah, it's possible to make friends. I've heard of people doing it successfully. I don't know how to do it myself. I wish I did. If I did, I would write a guide on it and I would share it with you. Sounds like Toby's the best person to ask for a guide on that right now. Jay's better than Wodan. Nah, that's not true. Everyone's as good as each other, just better at different things. Jay done. Jay and Wodan stream when? I get jealous when watching Wodan. Yeah, so do I, man. He's got some really nice stuff. Me desoldering a Nixie board is not going to be anywhere near as exciting as watching him desolder yet another Nixie board. That man's got Nixies for days. Someone did tell me that they'd seen a tub at his house that could quite conceivably have 10,000 Nixie switches in it, which is just phenomenal. And I thought I was lucky to get my hands on a couple of hundred. Also confirmed the girl who gave me my package is the fit single one. Nice, well done, Toby. Get in there. He bag lubes Nixies. Ugh. I disagree with bag lubing. I think manual hand lubing, whilst it might take a little bit longer, is absolutely the way to go. And just to confirm, I'm covering the whole side of these, wiping the lube on, and then almost wiping it off. You just want a real thin layer on there, and then making sure you get the slider rails on the front as well. Just a few more of these to go, and then we'll get on to the build. He puts on gloves and then pushes switches in the PCB while heating the contact points. Really? That seems a bit weird. Yes, I've got my Nixie board Gouty. If you want to see it, I will show you it on stream in a few minutes. Just let me know in the chat. Just say whether you want to see it or not. But it'll be on stream at some point in the near future when I desolder it. Which is where you guys will be keeping me more entertained. Jane International Kit. There's where the magic happens. Abso-freaking-lutely. That was one of the most fun things I've done in my life, was recording that podcast. I really enjoyed it. He's the reason why Nixies are so expensive. Yes, possibly. I don't intend to profit off my Nixies. I just intend to use them and then be disappointed in them. that's literally all I plan to do. Use them, put them in a board, dislike them, don't use the board. Sadly, they're probably going to end up in my Noxery 268. I've got a spare plate and PCB for that I need to build. So that's likely where they're going to end up. Toby's texted me and said, solid bit of intro music there. Thank you, Toby. Thank you. It's literally just the lo-fi playlist on YouTube, because that's free and I don't have to pay royalties to use it on stream. What's that, the guy that you posted to, Martin? I can't check it while I'm on stream. Is it him bag lubing Nixies? Because if it is, I'm not going to watch that. I'd be slightly disappointed in it. Okay, just got a few more of these to go. Sorry, I'm probably miles off camera here doing this. As I say, just wiping the lube on, almost wiping it off as well. Tiny bit of lube on there, on the brush. You never want to have too much. Much better to, as I say, under-lube the switches and have to do it twice than to lube too much and have to spend hours upon hours cleaning them in an ultrasonic cleaner and going through all of that palaver. It's much better to do it this way. Him having gloves and pushing switches in the PCB after having soldered everything. Oh, you mean to solder stuff? That's how he does it. Oh, I thought you meant desoldering. I couldn't get my head around it. So to solder switches into the board, he puts solder in the holes, puts the switches in the plate, then heats them up and pushes the switch into the PCB whilst he's heating the solder that's already there. Is that what you're saying? Because that's a really, really interesting method of soldering, if so. I may try it at some point, but I'm not sure that would work for me. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm misunderstanding. I'll have to watch the video later on. Solder, don't even know her. Dean with the comedy. Man, one of these days, you're going to make me laugh so hard that I do something rude on stream. Okay, almost finished lubing these up now. As I say, you're wiping more off of the lube that you put on, so when you put it on initially, you're going to have quite a bit on there. But the trick is to just keep brushing it so it's smooth on the side. Make sure you've not got too much. Less is more in these cases. Too much lube will just ruin the switch. Okay, 2 more to do, and then we can put the caps on. I'll show you how the switches work, and how smooth they are. Try and quickly build the board up, do a little bit of soldering, and then we'll do a quick sound test at the end with the caps on. Yeah, and then as I say, I wanted to talk a little bit more about the international kit and my thoughts on that. And if anyone else has got any questions or anything like that, I'm happy to answer them. More than happy to answer them, in fact. Okay, we're on the last one here. Just going to finish this one off nice and easily. There we go. That's lubing done. I know some people lube the top parts of the switches. I've never ever done that, so I have no idea whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. Favourite burger? It has to be Five Guys with everything on, just everything. Favourite key set? Oof, tough one. Probably SA Violet and Cream for looks, and GMK Muted for look and feel. Favourite Max? West Foxtrot. What do I order when I get Domino's? I don't. Toby orders for me, so ask Toby what I got. Is there a Five Guys in the UK? There are multiple Five Guys in the UK. There's one right by King's Cross train station in London, literally as you walk out the front doors. There's one in Leeds, which is not too far away from where I live. There's an even closer one in Bradford to me as well. I think they're almost everywhere. Yeah. Oh, we've got Kyle in the chat. Hey Kyle, hey man, good to see you again. The burgers are shit. No, they're really good. They're really good. The portion of chips is huge that you get from Five Guys. You ask for a large chips and you can't eat them all. It's ridiculous. Five Guys on the train. Yep, absolutely love it. Oh, we've got Glove in the chat as well. Glove is a legend. He does me a lot of customizing keycaps. Hit up Glove and check out his store if you want to see any of the artisans he does or buy something he has for sale. He's a good guy. There are only 2 in Germany. Wow, I would have thought there would be more, and I imagine there would be more at some point. It's going to spread. It's going to spread. Gloves run out of pizza. Is that a thing now? Running out of pizza? Okay. Okay, so just putting the tops on these. We'll pop them out of the switch holder in a second, and then I'll show you what these sound like. But they should be relatively smooth. Compare it to one of the ones I lubed earlier as well. See if there's any difference. If there is, I'll be annoyed. Meat liquor's good. Yes, I agree with that, Toby. But Five Guys is convenient, quick and easy, and it's not a sit-down meal. And they're delicious at Five Guys as well. So, I mean, that's chain stuff. You're always going to get some of these food vans that do really, really good burgers and really, really good food as well. Do I order the bacon wrap without bacon at McDonald's? No, I don't. I can't remember the last time I had a breakfast from McDonald's. Great meat, liquor in the front and poker in the rear. Yeah, if you like card games, that's good for you, dude. I'm not going to stoop so low to hear your punt. We need to do a burger round whenever I come to Berlin. Dude, that would be amazing. The burgers in donuts that you showed me the other week, I would absolutely be all down for that. I would absolutely be all over going to see that. Okay, so this is one of the switches we just lubed, and this is one from the batch earlier. Do a bit of a sound test. You probably can't even hear anything. And one from earlier. Probably still can't even hear anything, but they're really nice and smooth, really silent, really heavy actually. 125 grams is really heavy, but it's going to be nice to type on. I'm going to enjoy it. So that's that done. We can get rid of these out of the way now. And I think what we'll do now is we'll have a quick look at the board before I get the stabilizers ready from Fax. And we'll lube those in a minute as well. Different brush, 2 brushes, one for lube, one for dielectric grease. Try not to use the same brush for both, very important distinction. You want to try and make sure you've got separate brushes for that. Okay, so have a look at the plate. Standard aluminium fair universal plate. As I said before, it's got a slightly unique mounting, so you can probably see here that there's a mounting point there, really close to the edges, one down here as well. It's just got 4 screw points, and that's it. But just a simple aluminium plate. That's it. Nothing great about that, but it will do the job. And then we've got a PCB. I tested this the other day. It works just fine. It's their standard keyboard fans PCB. Looks okay. 66 layout. It doesn't fit in a clue board. Don't try it. I did. Doesn't work. Supports pretty much every layout you could want to though. It's a bit holy on the bottom row. I mean, if you look at that bottom row, that's pretty intense. Martin, you could probably design a better one. Max, you could too. I think it supports something like 30 different bottom rows. Anyway, we're going to use a single bottom row, so we'll be good. Move that out of the way. And then onto the case. So here's where we have a look at the case. Jan would have a fit. Yeah, he would. Yeah. Future Crimes and Rebel, so he's going to eat a sausage. I had Five Guy once, but I didn't like the way they tossed the salad. Yeah, nice. I like that. Well played. So this is the case. It's pretty nice. The sign inside is nice. It looks pretty nicely anodized. The silver on the outside of the case looks really, really good. A bit of a fingerprint there. And then onto the bottom, again, some more fingerprints. It's a bit warm in the room. Little mount points for the rubber feet. Keyboard fans engraved on the bottom. It is what it is. It's just a nice insert, really. I know that Chris Swires has been inquiring with Way from Keyboard Fans for me and him whether we could actually get a brass insert for this, which would be quite nice. That's something that's under investigation at the moment. Knowing Way, he'll do that as well. No switch stop removal. No, it's just a cheapo plate. There's no switch stop removal on this. It doesn't come with it. This is a standard plate that comes with. You could get a brass one. I decided not to, mainly because this case isn't going to house this board forever. It's going to house a secret build that's coming from Max when he gets his finger out of his bum and sorts it out for us. So hurry up, Max. Oh, you know what the project is. And then before you mention the powder cutters, yes, I'll be there at the weekend. Checking it out. Let's pull this stuck. Use a big screwdriver. If you're going to get one, get a big one. It's not a secret. It is a little bit secret. It's up to you if you want me to talk about it or not. How thick is the bottom? I'll show you now. So the bottom insert works a little bit like a tray, so as you can see here. Now, if you look at the thickness, it's from here to here. It's about 2 centimeters. If you look on the inside, this lip here is about 7 mil. So the thickness of the base plate at the back is probably about 1.2, 1.3 mil, and it goes down to probably 5 or maybe 6 mil at the front. So it's not quite a nice little solid board. It's really hefty. Nice solid bit of aluminium. Works well, does the job good. As you can see, it's an interesting mount. So this is the way it goes in. It connects to the bottom of the case by 6 mount points on the outside. They screw it upwards, and then the plate settles on these points in the corners. I'm not sure if you can see them there, but there's like these little 4 nubbins in each corner. There's 2 here as well, and that's where the plate sits. So it literally sits like so. Just sits like that. Sits flush against the top there. The PCB rests inside, and then the top case comes down and holds that tight. So when it's held tight, you shouldn't hear that rattle anyway when it's pulled together properly. But yeah, that's how it fits together, and that's how it sits. So it's an interesting design. I'm not sure what to call it. Gasket mount maybe. Not sure. Something with MX wires. MX wires is Max's pain at the moment, considering Max invented it. But no, I don't think it will be. It's an Alps design that Max has come up with, but I'll let Max tell you in chat if he wants to. That's a proper tray insert. Yeah, it's solid. It's solid. It's not a 10mm plate. It's absolutely solid. And future parameters sit on the nubbins. Yeah, the plate sits on the nubbins. Just 4 nubbins. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. So in fact, what I'm going to do first actually is, because I just don't like the sound of metal on my desk, I'm just going to put the bump-ons onto the bottom of this. Would you get an MX switch tattoo? If someone else paid for it, probably. I'm covered in tattoos, so yeah, probably it wouldn't bother me. It's an ISO AK66 key PCB. Yes, that's what Max is designing, and I'm going to use this housing for that. So it'll be an Apple extended keyboard keycap set with the skinny ISO enter and the wonderfully offset keys, and I'm going to be using Brown Alps for that build, which is why, as everyone has seen in chat, I've been building up my Brown Alps collection over the past couple of weeks. For keyboard 66 and 661, yeah, so this is 661, this is what's going to go into. I've also got a keyboard 66, which has got box navies in at the minute, so if you check out my typing videos on YouTube, you'll see that that's what the keyboard 66 looks like. The PCB and plate that Max is designing will fit both, or the layout, sorry, is not plate. The plates you'll have to get cut, but we'll probably have designs and files for them as it is. Gouty was all tabbed out. Why does that bit come out? Oh, so this is the base insert. So let me show you again, Gouty. Are you paying attention, good sir? And Slider, hi, how you doing? Yeah, well, I might actually get you to look at the plate actually, Martin, like you did me that other one the other day. So what we've got here, Gouty, is this is the base. It slots into the top housing, but how it works is we've got 4 little nubbins in each corner, 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Those nubbins are what the plate sits into, so the plate sits on top of that. This is where I can't align it at the angle because I'm not looking properly. And help if I got this right. There we go. So that sits on like so, nice and flush. And then Gouty, this all slides into the top part of the case. So it all slides inside, the case slides down it like so, and then it sits all together nice and neatly like that. And obviously you have the PCB inside. So it's a really clever little bit of a kit to put together. There we go. I quite like the design. I think it's a really good idea. So we'll get on with building that in a second. The plates exist for normal tray mount, yes, but we just need to get them adjusted so it fits this design. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm going to probably task you with coming up with a design for this. I think I've got the image files for it. In fact, I might just take a photograph of it for you, Martin, and then you can have a go at this. I'll take a picture of it quickly now. And then if you need any measurements, I'll get the measurements for you as well off of the plate once it's built. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put this together now using the switches. What I'm going to do is push the switches into the plate first of all, and then once we line it up with the plate and the PCB, then we'll do the stabs from Mr. Fax. It will help if I put the switches in the right way around. I've already done one wrong. Yeah, so this is one of the famous keyboard fans PCBs where the switches change orientation every now and again, because why not? Why not? Those two go that way around. Oh, you've got a spare plate for your 661 as well. Okay, great. If you've got the 661 plate, what we'll do is we'll scan that and we'll get that over to Martin to do the design, if that's okay. Toby, you should get a 661. They're really good. I think the plates and the plate design is really good. I'd probably get a brass one if I was going to keep it built up like this, and I'll probably get my Alps plate for the project that Max has told you about done in copper or brass, just because they're the current memeiest of meme switches. Plate materials. It does have north-facing LEDs, but who uses LEDs today in the modern day and age? Okay. Didn't cut the PCB mount legs off. Finally, someone with some sense. Yeah, I like PCB mount legs. They make it harder to clip the switch in, but I think they give it better stability. I would absolutely prefer to use them all the time if I could. We still hit the housing on GMK though. I don't think it does if it's just a north-facing switch if you don't have the LED in it. And if it does, well, it does. It's one of those things. Use SA or DSA. There's always ways around it. 661 would be a great office board with GMK Sarika mods and 9009 alphas. No, you're wrong. Muted alphas are the ones you want for it, or Oblivion grey alphas. Sorry, Oblivion white alphas with grey legends. Sorry, those are what you want for it, Toby. No LED slider. No, I personally I dislike LEDs. I try not to use them in my builds. Very few boards I build will have them in. When I do the TX 1800 V2 in a couple of weeks, that will have them in, but that's mainly because I use that board in the office, and I like my office to be quite dark and dingy when I'm working, so I'll probably put LEDs in that. Martin likes the fact that I don't use LEDs. Yeah, not a fan of them personally. Backlighting is, you know, if you can't touch type, you shouldn't be typing really on something like this. It's for me. I just if you don't have shine through keycaps, what's the point in having backlight? That's the way I look at it. One thing I do like about this is it's a fixed mount point for the space switch. That's really nice. I am very much an advocate of fixed plates wherever possible. So yeah. Casually got a copper Oblivion just for the alphas on 66% boards. Absolutely, mate. Absolutely. It's what the it's what this is all about. It's what the game is all about, my dear. Okay, so just going to put the main switches in here. We'll just check all lines on the PCB. And then we'll do the stabs before we mount the PCB and the plate together. And then from there, we'll start to solder. I'll just need to get my soldering kit out. And we'll start that then. Okay, so slider, if I was going to use LEDs on this build, bearing in mind that I'm using a black and red keycap set and a silver board, what would you recommend colour-wise for LEDs? What are you thinking on that one, dude? Be interested to know your thoughts. I'm going to have to bend some of these pins straight again. Sadly, Arrow does not look after their switches when they post them. Reza greens, yeah, everyone loves a bit of Reza green. Probably say that differently to how most of you say it in your heads, so I do apologise. Okay, and just a reminder for those guys who have joined us since we first started talking tonight. Go and watch the international. Go listen to the International Kit podcast because it features me and Quert and Egler interviewed me for their new podcast. So it's available on all good podcast players at the moment, and on the site it's on Keep Talk and everything else. Toby's linked it in the chat as well. So do go listen to that, folks. Do go listen to it. It's very much worthwhile listening to. Shill, yeah, I'll shill anything for friends. It's just the way it is. In fact, the thing is, it's not just friends, it's let me take up your streaming game. You want to be a mod. You want to be a mod. Toby, I don't even know how to make you a mod. I don't even know how to make you a mod, mate. Wish I could. Oh, there you go, you're a mod. Toby's now modding. Have a go, fam. Do what you need to do. Normally Olivia mods for me, but no Olivia today, sadly. I don't know where she is, what she's doing. Hope she's well. Miss speaking to her, so I hope she's okay. She also should be getting a Hyper 7 very, very soon. So hopefully she'll shout out on stream when she's got that. You are mod. I don't know what you need to do, Toby, but you are mod. I trust you, fam. You would get admin though. I'm not giving you that. Have enough with Max being admin on my Discord server. So Medieval Genius, I'm not sure if you're still watching, dude, but I hope you are. I'd be interested in your thoughts on your Hyper 7 and your Artisan you've won on my last stream. and what you plan on doing with the board as well. I'll be really interested to hear all about all those things if you want to post up in chat, or not if you've got secret plans. That's entirely up to you. But Evil Genius, I'm on your side and would love to hear about all your plans for Hyper 7. I know Olivia's got some secrets goings on for cases and whatnot as well, so I was talking to her and Wilbur about it a couple of weeks ago. In terms of my plans for Hyper 7, I'm still in the process of building my round 2 board, so hopefully I should get that done in the next week or two. Oh, interestingly, one of the switch holes here appears to be smaller than the switch, so we may have to do a bit of trimming on that in a minute. We'll have a look at that. Or is that just a big switch? I think actually it's one of the legs on the switches. Let's see. Yeah, just a leg on a switch. Just a leg on a switch. I'm still not there. It's not home till the weekend. Oh, well, I hope you get to see it. Then you can actually get a good look at it and get something more solid in terms of design. I would love to see what you're going to do, man. I genuinely would. Disappointing. It only offers standard caps, no stepped caps on this board. Sad. Stocks has a secret, but no one cares. Stocks, I'd love to know about your secret. If you have a secret, tell me about it. I hope you bought the Keyblade that I linked to as well the other day, dude. I hope you definitely bought that. But yeah, Evil Genius, just you, dude, hit me up if you've got any design queries, anything like that, or if you need any of the files. I'm so happy to see other people get their Hyper 7 boards. There's been 2 or 3 posts up on Reddit now. I think something like 21 out of 35 people have received them now, so it's really good to see. Hey, you got a crown? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what gives you a crown. No idea. I think it's Twitch Prime, something like that. I don't know, unless Tobbles is doing something that I'm not sure what's going on. So come on, Stocks, what's happening with this Keyblade, man? What's happening with the Keyblade? Tell me. Okay. So slowly getting there. Yep, Prime. Okay, that answers that one. Cool. Okay. So one more switch, and then we've done all of the stock positions. The ones with stabilizers, I think we'll come back to after we've. Sorry, 2 more. I've missed these in the corner. The ones with stabilizers we'll come back to after we've put the stabilizer into the PCB, which is the next job. Okay, so there we go. So you guys can start to get an idea of how the board's going to look now. We build it up. It's looking good. So what we're going to do now is move on to the PCB. We're going to put our stabilizers in. I'm going to clip and lube these. I'll show you how I do these normally. Ever used a 45%? Do you know what? I've got a couple of 40s and a couple of 45%. I love my Pearl, Dean. I just can't use 40 on a day-by-day basis. No, I'm not going to Band-Aid mod it, Toby. I dislike that. I'm not a fan of that at all. I think it just feels a bit mushy. I'm not a fan. But this game's all about preference, you know? So what we're going to do here is we're going to clip and lube the stabilizers. So as I've shown you guys before, this is one of the stabilizer housings. On the base of it, it has 4 legs. I think you can see 2 just there at the front, and then if I spin it around, 2 there as well. The 2 thinnest of the legs, which are diagonally opposed to each other, we're going to clip those off and try and get the bottom as flush as possible. So we're just going to do that now. That's one leg. And then around the other side, we're going to clip that off as well. Try and get the base as flush as possible. And then you'll see now that this has only got 1 leg on either side. And we do that just to make sure we stop the stabilizer from feeling mushy and bottoming out and bouncy. Those legs bounce effectively and make it feel all mushy. So we're just going to do the rest of these really quickly. And on this board, we're going to do, well, what we're going to do, we're going to do stabilizers for the ISO enter, backspace for the shift, for the space bar, and that's it. That's what we're going to do. So we need 3 2Us and 1 6.25U. I think it's 6.25U space. Yeah, it's 6.25U space. So we're good on that. So let's put these to the side. 2 housings, 2 housings, that's 2 stabilizers, 2 housings, 2 housings, there we go. And then we're going to pop these in there as well, so we need a full set this time. These don't have any spares, good. I've got a package full of these spares lying around. No spacebar ones, you're going to have to sell me at some point for that, spacebar stabilizers on their own. Toby, what are you doing? What are you doing? Stop putting the chat to stuff like that, man. Yeah. But what's going on in chat? Nah, Band-Aid mod bad. Yeah, it is bad. Makes it mushy. I dislike the Band-Aid mod as well. Clip stabilizer movement. Yeah, exactly. You've got it in one guess. That's what you do. It's nice on just the spacebar. Maybe. Show my left wrist tattoo. Here you go. It's a phoenix rising from the ashes. I got it about 15 years ago. I had a bit of a bad time at work, personal life. And it was to remind me that things can always get better, and you can always change your life around, and make things better for yourself. That was the meaning behind it. The purple light strip. Well, we can change the colour of the purple light strip if you dislike it, Toby. My desk is RGB. Roger. I've clipped far too much of this off. Hold on. Do you guys have a specific colour you would like to see around my midriff? Please let me know. I wish I could show you all my tattoos on stream, Max, but I'd probably get banned from Twitch if I did. You want it to be green? Okay, hold on a second, let me grab the remote. There you go, it's now green. Get your nips out. RGB doesn't do brown, future crime. Stop coming up with stuff you can't do. Should I put it in colour cycling mode and then you can all be happy? Was that the best thing to do? Not the best thing to do? Let's put it on random. There you go. It's on random now. Make it black, which is off. No, I won't. I kind of like it. Normally in the office, I don't have the big light on above me here. I just have the RGBs on under the desk. It just adds a nice bit of underglow. And the nice touch about it is it glows blue when it rains outside. It's linked to my local weather station, and whenever it's raining outside, so I can remember to get the washing or to bring the dog in or whatever. The lights go blue, so I know that it's raining outside. Brown is for the best switch for MX Browns. No, I have got some brown Alps somewhere. I'm not sure where I put them. Brown Alps are amazing though. What else we're saying? You have a bag of those? No one's interested. You would have to. You can pay me to take them off your hands. If you send them to me for free and send me some money, I'll take them off. Brown Alps are terrible. No, brown Alps are the best Alps in my opinion. I really like brown Alps. Okay, so that's those clipped. So as I say, just the 2 legs off each one. We just want to take away all of that horrible mushiness. And now we're going to put these stabilizers together. So I know I've talked about this before, but you want to make sure that on the stabilizer you've got 2 holes on one side, 1 and 2, and you've got 1 on the other side as well. The side that's got 2 holes, that's the front. So you want to get your stabilizer housing, and the side that's got the clip for the wire stem, that's the front of that. So you want to put the 2 holes inside there, facing the front. Then you get your wire, push your wire into the bottom hole, and then into the clip it into the front of the housing. Moves up and down nicely. Same again. 2 holes at the front, where the wire clips in is the front of the housing. Put the slider in, pull it through, put the wire into the bottom hole. Oops. Hope you can do it properly, Jay. And then clip it into the housing. There we go. And we'll just build the rest of these up really quickly, and then we'll start to lube them. So 2 holes to the front, into the front of the stabilizer where the wire is going to go. Wire into the bottom hole. Clip it into the housing, make sure it moves. Rinse and repeat on the other side. 2 holes to the front Front's where the wire goes. Pro tip from Tobbles: if you have your stab assembled the correct way, if you pull the stem all the way up, it should be flat. Okay, thank you very much for that, Toby. That's a good tip. So there we go, all the way up and flat. Nice. That's those two done. We'll finish these off really quickly. So 2 holes to the front, stabilizer wire into the bottom hole, clip it into the front of the stabilizer, and then rinse and repeat on the other side. And here we go. In other news as well, guys, while I'm just finishing putting this last one together, I've had 27 emails this week asking for another round of Hyper 7. If anyone is interested, I'm going to run an interest check probably towards the end of this month, maybe in 10 days time or so, maybe into next month, really early September, just to see if anyone is interested in another round. If anyone is interested, do let me know and I'll put you straight into the list. Yellow Alps. I'm not a fan of Yellow Alps. Salmon Alps are okay, yes, I like that. Brown Alps are my favourites. Swiss Alps are great for skiing, not so much for keyboards. If you could fit one into a keyboard, I'd be really impressed. Swires Alps. And what about Applemose? Okay. So what we're going to do now is move on to lubing these stabilizers. So this is really, really easy. You've seen me do this before, guys. So a little bit of dielectric grease. I use a brand called Carlube. There are multiple brands out there, but dielectric grease is the best stuff for the job. It's a silicone-based grease. Pop it down. Oh gosh, spilling it nearly. Pop it down. Then get your brush. Make sure it's nice and dry. And what we're going to do is we're going to dip the brush in, get a nice amount on the brush. So you want more on this than you do when you're lubing switches. Take the slider, pull the slider out of the housing as far as you can, brush it onto one side, make sure there's a nice even coat. You're not trying to overlube this, you're just trying to get a nice smooth coat on there. Brush some onto the other side, pin sized amount on top of the brush, into the back of the housing where you can see into the back of the slider where the metal pokes through. You want to just put a dowel pin there. Wipe what's left on the brush around the front bend, just like so. You can see here I'm just brushing around the bend here nicely. And then a rice-sized piece, a grain of rice-sized piece, front to back, wipe it up the inside. That's one side done. On to the next. You should have enough lube on the side of your brush now to just do the housing there. You probably don't need to get any more lube for that. Okay, that's done. Tiny pin sized amount into the back where the wire pokes through. Brush onto the front just to make sure where the plastic's touching the metal you're all covered. Flip it over, front to back, rice sized grain amount, just run it under. There we go, that's one done there. Scissor switch, best scissor switch. Yes, Kaz, if that's what you like. Mechanical butterfly. Butterfly switch, my man. Okay. Using anything other than an Apple Magic Keyboard in 2018. I've actually got one. It's not on my desk, but I do have one somewhere, probably in a drawer for the Mac that's over there in the corner. Max has a meaning in Dutch. Does it? Does it? Interesting. Okay, so probably got enough lube on the brush to do the two sides of the slider again. So we're just going to do those quickly. Yeah, plenty on there. Pin sized amount just into the back. Wipe around the front of the wire. Flip it over. Rice sized piece in there. Run it all along front to back. And then onto the other side. We're almost done now. Just going to quickly blast through these. Rice sized piece under the back, front to back. Just tap on the wire there, just to make sure it's nicely covered. Two sides of the slider housing. Going to get chips and bread. Oh, chips and bread. Bring me some. Can just go for that. We had homemade chips tonight. It was good. Deep fat fry, y'all. Oh gosh, way too much. Yeah, it's still possible to overlube when you're doing this, so just be careful. Always better to add too little lube and then come back to it and add more later if you need to. Okay, right size piece in there, front to back. Just touch whatever's left on the brush onto the metal contact points on the front of the stabilizer, just where the wire goes, and then onto the spacebar, which is the last one. But do you have any low profile keyboard recommendations? You're just so used to the Magic Keyboard. You can get Kale low pro keycaps and switches. They're not amazing. I think if you're going to do it, the best to adjust and try and get used to an MX style switch. The low pro ones aren't great, and you can't use standard stabilizers. They've got their own stabilizer system and all sorts of stuff like that. So you just have to be really careful with things like that. You can get some boards that are really low at the front. Noxry 268, for example, I think is 17mm something at the front, maybe 19. It's really low, so it's really good. Motorspeed makes them as well. Yeah, I've not seen those in the flesh, but yes, I've heard of them. Yeah, you may like DSA keycaps. It's very flat slider, as Kaz is saying. So DSA is a keycap profile, and we can show you some different keycap profiles on stream if you're interested in seeing that. But DSA is a really flat one, so it doesn't add any height to the board. In fact, I've got a board here with DSA on. Let me just finish this and I'll show you. So this is a 40% board. It's my Mech Mini 2. So this also has retooled lubed blacks in. As you can see, it's really shallow. It's thicker than a Magic Keyboard would be, but it's really shallow. But as you can also see there, the keycaps are flat, so they don't have any profile on them. They're flat, completely flat. So the whole board on this one is actually completely flat. There you go, Mech Mini typing. There. Yeah, it's in the pile of keyboards ready to record a video, Kaz. That's what it's there for. The key set on this is 2. It's DSA Modern Hyrulean on top, which is the Legend of Zelda keycaps. And then this is DSA Bounty Hunter, which is based on Star Wars. Yeah, it's based on a theme from the Bounty Hunter from that, whose name's escaped my mind. And why does it always do this? I'm terrible with names. Yeah, the Bounty Hunter from Star Wars. You can all post in chat, but you remind me who it is. I can picture the actor as well. I can't think of his freaking name. Boba Fett, there you go. And Jango Fett, there you go. I knew it would come back to me. Yeah, it just popped up in chat now. Cool. Yeah, so there we go. So that's the 2 key sets on here. So compare that to something like the Holy Pandas. Yeah, it's very different in sound. Anyway, there we go. Put that to one side. Okay, so now we've got our stabilizers all lubed up. What we're going to do now is offer it up to the PCB, so we can make sure that everything fits. So the first thing I'm going to do is put the space one in. So the easiest way to do this is to line up your switches on the bottom row of the plate. So we know that it's going to sit like that. You can then see through the gap here whereabouts the everything needs to align. So I can see the holes it needs to align to. Nice and simple. The ISO enter and the backspace ones are a little bit easier. But the reason why this is a little bit more difficult is because there are so many stabilizer options for the PCB. So it's easy to do it this way around. So again, you've got 2 holes. You've got a small one and a thin one and a fat one. On the bottom of the stabilizer, you've got one hole where the screw goes, which is your thin hole, your small hole, and you've got a fatter end, which has got a clip on it. That's going to go into the larger hole. So on this one, the spacebar wants to flip around. Push it into the larger hole. Clip in the screwdriver hole, the screw hole. Should sit nice and flush on the base of the PCB like that, so you can see it's not lifted anywhere. It's nice and flush. We can turn it over, take one of the screws, small jeweler's screwdriver, pop it into the base of the stabilizer, screw it down. Now here, you're not trying to over tighten these, you want to tighten them to hold them in. You don't want to be tightening them so it starts to squish the board in any way, shape or form. And the other thing to look out for as well is where you're putting these screws, just double check that you're not touching any contact points for any of the different switches or anything else, especially on these PCBs that have got a ton of customization options. So you can see here quite clearly there's nothing around the screw there, there's nothing around the screw there, there's no components it could touch, there's no risk of it shorting. And then we're going to move on to the next one. So we're going to do the backspace. Backspace goes in here, like so. You can see that on the stream just there. Clip them in, nice and flush. Screw into the hole on the back. Screwdriver. Tighten up, just so it's tight. You don't want this to be going too far, too deep, and crushing the PCB. Double check that you're not touching any points or causing any shorts. This one should be fine. It's close to some components, but it's not touching. Then we're going to do the ISO enter. So this is going to sit just here. Clips in nice and sweetly, just like so. Sweeter than Max, not as sweet as Toby. That's how I put it. If it does catch, you can use another component. You can use some little nylon or paper washers. They're available at any good hardware store. I can always provide a link if anyone is interested in those. What's going on in chat? Slider, I hope you liked the board. You see it, you said how nice. I hope that was in response to the board. It is a lovely little board. The Mac Mini 2 is probably the only 40% I use on a reasonable basis. Use it fairly regularly. The switches are retools in the Mac Mini, yes. Holy Pandas on the 268. No, Holy Pandas is on the Canoe. The 268 that's built at the minute, that's got, it's on the shelf actually, not here, but that's got Xylent Zelios which are lubed in it. There's a sound test for that on YouTube as well. But the second one, I'm going to build up the second plate and PCB for that one, is going to be Nix's. I'm going to build that on stream in a week or so. Jay, you need something on enter because that area is a clusterfuck. I'm just looking at it. There's literally nothing that it touches. So unless there's something that shorts through the actual PCB as well itself, I don't think that. But there's nothing here around this one. There's nothing here around that one. There's absolutely nothing touching. It's quite clear. You had 2 layers of insulating tape. It was still shorting an entire row. It's fine on that one. We'll see if it's like this on the next one that we're putting in. I think if we're going to have any problems, it'll be here on the right shift. I'd normally split this key, but for this board I think we'll go with the full size key. Just going to put those in, have a look for the screw holes. Okay, so here we might have a problem. So on this one we won't, we're just touching a single LED mount point, but that should be fine. On this one, it's actually going to cross both LED points. So I'll see if you can see that there on stream. That there is going to touch too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of tape, pop that over it, and then screw through the tape. I do have some tape somewhere. So I tend to just use brown tape for this. Whatever you can use will work well for you. Use that. And this is just to stop it shorting. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a small strip of tape, just like so. And then what I'm going to do is around where the screw hole is, I'm just going to cut a thin strip. I'm going to place that down just to cover up the contact points and half of the hole. So you can see there that I'm half covering the hole, I'm covering up the contact points. I'm going to place another one over the top. Yours is anti-enter, yes. I can see why it would on the anti-enter, yes. Okay, so we've got 2 layers of tape there now, so 2 layers of tape. The next step is to take your screwdriver, push that into the hole, just to make sure that you can get the screw in nice and simply. Take your screw.
I don't know that.
Oh, Alexa's picking up something, she thinks I'm talking to her. Place your screw inside, The reason we use tape is so it doesn't crease it, and there you go, you can see that that's now taped and covered, and we shouldn't have any shorting issues. Welcome back, Toby. Why did Martin get timed out? What happened there? What happened there? Fix it, please, man. Fix it, Toby. Stop batting around. Sort it out, mate. Yeah, it doesn't look like I'm going to have any issues. If we do, we'll have a look at the PCB. We can always get to the back of it and have another look. No ISO heresy. Well, we are using ISO. ISO is best SR. That's personal preference for me. But there we go. So what we're going to do now is just seat the PCB and the plate together, and then we're going to push the switches in. So, in fact, actually, the first thing I'm going to do is just check to see if any of these switches have got bent pins. A couple of them have. I remember putting it together. Straighten them up with your fingers. There's no risk here apart from stabbing yourself. Always good to double check each switch. Just make sure they're all the switch pins are vertical. You're not going to have any issues with any bending over. Okay, we look good from that. So now we're going to make the two together. And then what we're going to do is just going to push the switches in all down the edge. Make sure they clip in nicely. Some will snap, some won't. Once that edge is done, we're just going to work our way back. Press down firmly. Get to the top part. Push these in as well. Board should start to pull itself together. I'm just nipping it tight here. Easy if you press down underneath the board and on top. Just make sure you're pushing all the switches in. Make sure they're nice and flush. Don't want any gaps between the switches and the PCB if you can help it. If you've got any switches that feel like they're giving you bother, just slow down, have a look. Slowly working our way around, just press each switch in, making sure they're all firmly pressed through. Double check the pins that are coming through the holes. You can always see whether that's the case or not. Yeah, there's different ways of doing it, Martin. All sorts of different ways of doing it. No right or wrong way. You can do it as Martin says, just push a couple of switches in and then get them all lined up from there. Just different strokes for different folks, really. You should be able to feel everything coming through. As soon as you can feel all the switches popping through, pushing through, you know you're pretty good. They're all starting to line up nicely now. A few that just need a little bit more pressure. Difficult to break anything at this point, so you know you can push quite firmly, just trying to get everything seated nicely. Just a couple on the middle row, just trying to sort out here. Okay, we're looking good. So everything's flush from the sides, from the bottom, from the top. There you go. What we can do now is we can just fill in the gaps. We've got a few switches that we haven't got in. So we need one for backspace. That's just going to clip straight in there. Make sure to push through. Nice and easily. Yeah, it's different ways of doing it. Yeah, get it in the vise, yeah. Just different ways of doing it. Doesn't really make a difference. Try Matty's way, try whichever way you want. As long as you get the switches in, that's the main thing. The good thing about PCB mount switches as well, I'd rather use them than not use them, is because you tend not to get wonky switches when you use them. It's much easier to get your switches straight. ISO key, enter, goes in just here as well. And then I've got the 2 switches just over on this side. That was one, and this is a second. Nice and simple. And then we just need to work out what we're doing here. Normally on these boards I go 3-1U, but I think today what we'll probably do is trial it with some different keycaps. So we'll come back to those and do those last. I think sometimes it's easy to put keycaps on the bottom row and do that way. So we'll probably do that. Universal plates do suck. Yes, I agree. This one isn't too bad. There's not much going on the bottom row for it to go wrong. There's just a bit universality here and a little bit around here. It's not as bad as it could be. You don't know why anyone would manufacture switches without pins. It's just one of those things. I know that Kale are looking to do box switches with pins on in the future, so that's something to look forward to. As always, I've got far too many different tools out now, bits and pieces, so I'm going to move these away. I'll probably want 2 or 3 switches just later on as well, so let's just move everything out of the way. Tidy it all up later. We'll get it out of the way for the stream. Okay, so now what we're going to do is moving on to soldering. Kale, yeah, well, Kale or Kale, they'll do whatever they want to do. Toby's messaging me and telling me to set up the Nightbot. Toby, we'll talk about it later on. I don't know what to do. Never really looked at it. But we'll see how we get on from that perspective. Future Crime has followed, as has Das Gnome KB. Oh, Das Gnome KB as well. Nice, thank you for the follows, guys. And we've got Nathan Kim in the chat as well. Mr. Kim, these were blacks retooled with Krytox, retooled and lubed with Krytox 104 on the springs, the bases, and the sliders as well, the stems as well. So these should sound really, really nice when it's all built up. I have to say the kit design though for one of the cheaper boards I have is absolutely fantastic. I'm really surprised by the quality of it and how it continues to look good as well. And I'll be really excited to get the ISO AEK stuff built into this as well with the Brown Alps in the near future. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm just going to set up my soldering iron now, guys, as well. I'll just take 1 second. So here we go, TS100 soldering iron, as is the standard on streams these days. And you'll be pleased to know from the last stream, this time I've got a full roll of solder, a pound roll of solder from Kester, because last time I had to use cheaper B&Q solder and it was not fun. Let's see if we can find the end on this solder now. No idea if I'm following this in the right direction or the wrong. There we go. 2 ends. We found 2 ends. There we go. Okay, so Brown Alps, yes, Brown Alps. I'm really looking forward to using those. Kale made boxes originally for some manufacturer, that's why box specs are not aimed at enthusiasts. Yes, that's correct. And then Mike got hard on for them. Okay, fair enough. Garika, good to see you, man. In terms of solder, what do I recommend? I recommend anything that's nice and thin that you can work with, that's leaded solder, and that you're comfortable with. Try some different ones. I don't recommend using B&Q. I tried to use it on stream last week and it was far too thick. whereas this is 0.25. You probably can't even see that on stream. I'm not sure if it'll show up. It's really fine stuff. 0.25 inch thick solder as well. But Kester is really, really good. Royston cord. I always buy the Kano one from AliExpress. Yeah, everyone's got their own thing. Nathan, yeah, that is my desktop there. Yes, that is moving. If I pause the music, you will see that they will stop. There you go. And then play, and they come back. So yes, that is my desktop. I'm just playing some music. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. So we're going to do the soldering now then, guys. So what we're going to do is just tack the switches in the corners first, and then we'll go from there. So heat this up to about 340. I think this might be set a little bit higher than that from the solder we used last week, so we'll turn it down once it gets to temperature. Yeah, so I'm going to just drop this down to 340. Clean the tip. Always keep clean soldering iron. It's rare meter, yeah, just rare meter. It's dead simple to do. It took about 20 minutes to set up. What's my upload speed? I think it's 20 meg upload, and my download's 1 gigabit, something like that. I don't know. Okay, folks. So is the stream stuttering? Is that why you're saying? Because it's saying that it's the bitrate's fine on my dashboard, so I hope it's okay. Okay, so we're just going to tin the tip. You can see that nice solder's melting nicely. Just make sure you've got plenty out of the reel and the spool ready to go. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to solder the switches in the corners first. So don't be afraid to be aggressive with the solder here. As I say, this is really fine solder stuff, so you need quite a bit of it to just cover the switch. There we go. That's 1 pin done. The good point about using a really thin solder as well is it melts at a much lower temperature, makes it much easier to work with. Hope you can actually see what I was doing. A lot of people might disagree, but I think the thinner the solder, the better. Okay, that's one switch done. Put a little bit more on this bottom bit. There we go. Okay. Just wondering because yours isn't too high. Yeah, I just bought whatever was the fastest in the connection. It was easy that way. Yeah, we've got a mod in chat now. We usually have Olivia as mod, but Olivia's not here today. So yeah, Toby's going to be mod-tastic today. He's doing a good job at times. So we're just going to do the other corners now. So just making sure we get the switches done. Try not to hold on the switch point too long. So we're doing it at a relatively low temperature, so we're usually okay on this. There we go. Once we've got this one soldered in, there we go. Right, too much. Just give this a clean. Yeah, Olivia's a mod for me as well. She's really good. She looks after the stream for me usually. Toby will shill. He'll be your moderator if you want a good one. Gonna do this top corner now as well. Sorry guys, I've got a massive problem with my elbow at the minute. I had a pin put in it when I was younger, and this arm is really difficult to use at times. So I do apologise on stream today. It's not been the best. We've had a bit of rain today, and whenever we get rain, it's never great. Just find a lot of fine motor movement is quite difficult, but we'll be good. We'll be good. We'll get there. Is that one done? Okay, Okay, just going to move on to this last corner, and then the board's all tacked down. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to go row by row and finish the soldering off. Then we'll put the keycaps on. We'll do a quick test of the board's sound, and then we'll close up the stream at that point there. And Nathan, good to see you on here as well, because I think you should check out the International Kit podcast if you haven't done, dude. It's really, really good. Using painter's masking tape. That's fine if you've got cling film for your tattoo, Toby. Just put some cling film around it, put some painter's tape around the top. That's all fine. You just want to hold it on there. Even Vaseline will do a nice seal as well. But yeah, Nathan, definitely. I'm watching it during work. Nice. Definitely check out the International Kit podcast if that's your kind of thing. It features yours truly on the first ever episode, and we've also got Querdanker and Egler, who are the hosts, in chat today as well. So do check that out and feed it on to your American brethren. Okay. Toby helping out again. Good, Toby. So just moving along here now at a nice brisk pace, or we will be when my arm decides not to want to bend in ways it shouldn't do. There we go. I'm not the best at soldering. I can do a good enough job to get by. If I need anything big doing, I just get Yankar to do it. Soldering is not my forte. I'm more used to soldering on cars where you don't need to be delicate, you don't need to be fine. That is much more my kind of soldering style. Okay, so moving a little bit quicker now. Nathan, I watched your stream the other day, dude, yesterday or last night when it was for me. I thought it was really good. Good to see you streaming again, man. And it was nice to see you give Max a shout out for his lovely cables the other day on stream as well. I thought it was really nice of you. And me a shout out as well. You gave me a shout out as well, dude. Thank you. I wasn't watching at the point where you did that, sadly. Otherwise, I would have chirped up in chat. But it was good to see. Personal recommendation, I think he said it was. So I'm glad that we can be close enough for me to recommend stuff, dude. Okay, moving a little bit quicker now. Good. Keeping up a steady pace. How's Word on stream coming along, guys? Who are watching both? Is he still desoldering Nixies or whatever he was desoldering? Sorry, I'm not very talkative when I'm doing this. I do find it difficult to concentrate and do two things at once, being a typical man. No one's still watching Word stream? No? Okay. Notifications going off the buzz on Discord at the minute. I'll check all those out afterwards, guys. So Quer and Egler, have you got anyone lined up to be your guest or to talk with on your next podcast? Or is that still too secret to talk about? It'd be interesting to see what you're doing next. I'm interested to see where the format goes and who you get on and what topics you cover. And we've got Baby Feet's on as well. Hey man, good to see you again, dude. I think you caught my last stream as well. Sadly not yet. I think you're being coy. I think you do and you're just not telling me. I think you're keeping it as a surprise. Baby Feet, your username reminds me that at the weekend my missus and I are doing one of those Baby Feet foot pack things where all your rough skin sloughs off, so we're going to do one of those at the weekend. Looking forward to that. We have to cross someone off the list we would have really liked to have. That's not good. Sometimes it's better to know up front if people can't make it or can't support it. Oh, your wife was laughing. Yeah. So my wife and I we're going to do a Baby Feet foot mask on Sunday night and a face mask and everything. My wife wants to do a whole pampering evening, so we're going to do that together. And your name just reminded me of it. That's all. You made things too easy for our first episode. Oh, thanks. Just ordered some of that solder for when the time arrives. Oh, nice. Yeah, I forgot you bought the time glove. Yeah. What you have now is horrible. Good solder makes everything nice and easy. I mean, this stuff just melts and fills the holes, as you can see, really easily. The poorest part about this is my soldering skills at the minute because I'm struggling with my arm, but we're getting there. Words sound cute. Yeah, words sound cute. Oh, word sounds cute. Oh, I read that wrong. I completely understand now. Yes, it does. Yeah. It's going to be a fun evening. I'm going to really enjoy it. We've got the missus' parents coming around that day for a barbecue as well in the garden, if the weather holds out. So we'll see how that goes as well. For those of you who don't know, I've just spent the last 2 months rehashing all of my garden in my spare time, in between building keyboards, of course. Okay, we're just almost done through this first layer. Wish I could go faster today, guys. I really do. Hopefully next stream my arm will be back up to it. Where's my invite for the barbecue? Dude, you're welcome anytime. You don't need an invite. You are more than welcome to come around at any point you want to, dude. Standard invite. Let's get plenty of solder ready for the rest of these switches. See if we can't try and speed up a little bit now. I'll be down back in London next week sometime, dude. Possibly on Tuesday. So as soon as I know when I'm down, I'll hit you up. We'll go for a beer. Catch up and go for a beer. Next switch is here. Okay, almost finished this row now. I can hear my wife talking to the dog as well in the background. Not sure if you guys can hear that. We might get dog on stream shortly. Putting that bit of solder. Okay, and that's the bottom row done. Just noticing this one needs a bit of a reflow. There we go. Okay, so that's one row done in its entirety. We're going to move on to the next row. And once we're through this, we'll finish off the rest of the board. This should take not too long now. And then we'll go from there. Okay, that's one done that. So has anyone got any suggestions on other board you'd like to see me build. If there's any board in particular anyone wants to see. My unbuilt collection is quite extensive. I'm happy to try and get these on there. We are going to look at my Endgame board when that arrives in a couple of days' time. It's stuck in customs at the minute, as I say, so hopefully that'll be here soon, and then we can start to show you what we're going to do, something a little bit special with the Zelio stems and switches. I'm going to use Panda switches. I don't have a keyboard 8 times actually. No, it's one board I've not got. I'm not a fan of the 10 keyless layout, but I could probably pick one up for it. If there's interest in seeing that, I could probably grab hold of one. What else can we build? So the Noxtree 268, there's the other Noxtree X75 to build. There's the AEK of this to build. There's the desoldering of the Nixie board to go through, and then there's the rebuild of that. There's a TX 1800 V2 rebuild to go through. Yeah, so we might do that. That might be an idea after payday. See what we think. I've got a Duck Viper, a Duck Octagon, and there's another Duck board as well. I think it might be a Lightsaber V3. I've got a couple of LZ boards. I think we've got an LZ ST. We've got a 910 CE as well to look at. Trying to think what else is in the garage right now. I think there is a couple of 40s in there as well. Actually, there's a JD 45. I can't remember what colour that is. I need to look at that. We've got a punchy board coming as well soon, which is a similar layout to this. Duck Octagon build, please. Yeah, okay. 910 CE, good board too. Yeah, I've not used it yet. It's still there. Yeah, Toby, come around. Do a build with me. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Glove loves lightsaber. I think, Nathan, are you not selling a lightsaber V3? I'm sure I saw you post that somewhere up. So Glove, if you are interested, and Nathan's selling one, you guys need to get your heads together if that's still on the board. Let's drive to Swires and use the table. Yeah, we could do. We could do. He doesn't live too far away from me. We can definitely get to his house from here or from yours. That's not too bad. Was it a broken one? I'm not sure what you mean, Martin. The other thing I want to do on stream as well, at some point I've got a hand build project that I want to do. That's probably going to be over multiple streams because I've never hand built a board before. And even this is taking me a long time to do today, given my handicap with my elbow. If you hadn't bought the time, you'd definitely go for it. Yeah, fair, that's fair. Yeah, I'm using a postage board for that, Martin. Yeah. In fact, is it about? No, I think it's in the drawer. But yeah, I'll be using a postage board for the Handwire project. Which is a very similar layout to the CA66, which is kind of like an exploded 66% layout. So yeah, I've got the prototype board from that. The guy that made them on Reddit hit me up and allowed me to have one for review purposes. So I took that to the last meetup in the UK. Got some good reception there. Hopefully got him a few orders as well. I know that Anarchy, I don't know if Anarchy is watching today, but I know that Anarchy, he was wanting one as well for one of his builds, and he'd been talking to the guy on how to make it, and they'd come up with some suggestions together. So it'll be good to see that. Want to build your Scrabble pad? Did you buy a Scrabble pad? I'd lube all the switches for you, Toby, that's not a problem at all. We could sort something out where we did that together, I'm sure. Come stay over for a couple of nights. We'll do a live stream together. Good to have more than one person on. It was good when we had Mel on a little while back. I know Quer and Egler and I have been talking about getting them on voice chat and talkative while I'm doing builds and stuff in the background. So we might try that on the next stream as well. And I've got a ton of stuff to do unboxing videos for as well. So yeah, we'll see. You might have bought two actually. If you bought two, I'll have one off of you. I've got a good couple of use cases for a Scrabble pad. We could do like a dual build stream. Ah, you got just the one. Ah, never mind. Never mind. Jan actually has a similar product, Yankar from Yankar Designs, that he's done in the past. It's slightly larger, it has slightly more switches on. But he's done a really good design for that. Yes, the TR60 quadruple, yes. So I really would like to make that a thing. What Quer and Egler and I were talking about the other day with Chris Wires was doing a TR60 4-way build, because we've all bought the board. I think we could probably even get more people on. But yeah, we might try and do a 4-way build. Oh, Max has got one as well. We do 5-way build. Okay, interesting. So this could be a quintuple build. That could be really interesting. Okay. Time zone difference too strong. What time is it over there, Nath? It must be, what, early hours of the day? You just starting work, 10 o'clock, something like that in the morning? Maybe lunchtime? I don't know. It's nearly 10 PM here. Oh, 1:53 PM. Okay. About 8 hours then different. Today was my Friday as well. Luckily, I've got tomorrow off work, and then we've got the bank holiday weekend here in the UK. So I'm not back at work now until Tuesday, which is really nice. Yeah, Martin, I think you're an hour ahead of us. Yeah, in the Netherlands, you're an hour ahead. Okay, I do apologise, folks. This is taking me forever to solder today. I'm really struggling with dexterity in this left arm at the minute. Don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, just really struggling with it. Oh, you've got a job interview tomorrow. Nice. Well, what we might do then is, rather than finish off the soldering now on stream, what I might do is I might just put the caps on, button it all up now that it's tacked together, and we can get a good feel for how it's going to sound when it is soldered up. I might just finish this row and leave it there. Sorry about the crack, guys. It is really painful at the minute, so it's not in the best shape. I'm not hurrying for you. I don't think we'll keep that many viewers on for too much longer. We'll see. The board will always get built anyway, so we'll be fine from that perspective. Do you crack my joints? Yeah, I do crack joints. Every joint in my body cracks. If you're squeamish, look away now. And just for you, Martin, I'll give you a demonstration. So my neck actually cracks quite badly. I don't know if you can hear that on stream. Knuckles as well. But I can do the individual joints in my fingers as well. It is what happens when you get old. Wrists as well. There we go. That one might go. This other might. Nah, not still gonna happen. Yeah, just what happens when you get old. Yeah, my neck in the morning is terrible. It cracks like 6 times down each vertebrae. It's really painful. Okay, let's do a few more switches. See how we're doing for time. But it is just one of those things. It's just what happens when you get old. Yeah, it is quite painful. It's fine 90% of the time. Just when it's wet out is when I tend to tend to feel a bit worse with it. But we've all got it coming. It's all age related rather than anything else. Okay, so we're getting there. No, some people get it from a young age. It doesn't do your joints any damage. It's not bad for your joints. I know there's a lot of false wives' tales running around saying it is, but it's not something that damages your joints. It's just a collection of bubbles within the fluid in your joints, and all you're doing is squishing those bubbles and popping them effectively. And the reason it sounds so loud is because it's just coming from between two really, really dense objects. I mean, the bones that are compressing. And there's nothing wrong with being old anyway. It happens to the best of us. And in that vein, I hope everyone gets old at some point. It's sad when people die young. Everyone should have the opportunity to get old. Go. Okay, so we're moving along slowly. We've got more than half the board done now. Remember, the bottom row is not going to take anywhere near as long because there's fewer switches on there, and we haven't fully decided on how we're going to run the bottom row as yet. I am open to suggestions on that, whether you guys think 2 1.5U switches or 3 1U switches is best for that bottom part. I'm easy either way, to be honest with you. We'll have a look at it in a short while. We're fast approaching the 2-hour mark of the stream. Flies does this time doing it. I really enjoy doing this, guys, and I'm really happy that you guys are willing to stay and watch. It really, really does cheer me up. It's really nice. And he says as the view count drops by 5. No one wants to be nice to Jay. So we're moving along at a good old pace now. What I'll try and do as well, guys, is for the next stream I'll just try and make the size of the text chat a bit better. I know you guys said it looked a little bit too small. I literally just turned the widget on before the stream, so I've not had a chance to look at that yet. But I'll have a look afterwards and see how it's looking, see how it's doing. Main thing is it's working. That was the important part. So what do we think then after the Noxry 268, which is going to be the next build stream and my end game? Are we agreeing with Nathan that the Duck Octagon should be the next build? I think it might be. It sounds like a good board to do from my perspective. It's also one I'm interested to do a sound test on as well, because I've not actually heard one built up. Nathan, I might have to go and have a look at your videos and see if you've got one of a Duck Octagon at any point. Works for you. Oh, you do have an Octagon channel of Get Yellows. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. I'll go have a listen. I probably won't be using Get switches, but I might use tangerines actually. The tangerines should have shipped by that point, I would guess. Oh yeah, because there's the punchy as well. I want to do the punchy as soon as I get that, to be honest. I'm really excited about the punchy 66%. I think it's going to be everything that the clue board should have been. So I'm really excited about that. That is en route at the moment to me, so hopefully I'll get that in the near future. And then there's also the possibility of a fake salamander group buy that's happening as well in one of the UK discords, so I'm excited for that. There's no reason why any switch should trigger anyone, in my opinion. If you use what you want to use, then there is nothing wrong with that. As long as it's not MX Browns, Toby. Elite's people, so no one of worth. No, Get Yellows are probably one of the strong contenders for the best stock switch, I think. I think they're really nice for what they are. I've got them in one board, which is a split 40%, which I don't use, but I have it. I do like tangerines though, they're probably my favourite linear switch right now. Jay, you can't say the C word in chat. No, no one can. There's also another very funny word that you love to use that's also been blacklisted. Toby, behave. I suspect it's probably Clueboard that is blocked as well. Max, you can try using that. I don't know. Or maybe that was the C word that you meant, not the one I'm thinking of. Maybe I'm being too defensive. Oh no, you can use Clueboard. Okay. Got to remember this is a Christian server, Max. You can't have swear words. Toby doing a solid there. One day you'll find it, Max and Glorious Toby. Behave yourself. If you can't use it, they can't use it. Or if they can't use it, you can't use it. That's only fair. We've got to keep it fair, folks. Has to be fair. Older always smells nice. It's got that sweeter smell to it. Smell of death. Smell of I'm dying from breathing in these fumes. I think on the stream I saw the other day, someone unboxed a solder fume remover. Might be something I should invest in actually. Breathing those fumes. It does smell good, the solder. I do love the smell of it. But then again, I like the smell of petrol, and I like the smell of diesel, and I like the smell of kerosene, and all sorts of things that should be forbidden and that I shouldn't like. But I do. I love those kind of smell. Bitumen and tar as well. Maybe it is for something like this. Might be overkill to get a fume extractor for something like this. I think if you're working with harsh chemicals, it's absolutely needed. But you're probably right, for this kind of level of work, it probably is a significant overkill. So where's the job interview for them, Martin? Is it a good job? Is it a job you're wanting, or is it just something you're having to do? Ooh, fume extractors. Smart sold a fume extractors. Thank you. I'll definitely have a look at that. Yeah, I'll definitely take a look at it. Probably not going to fund the whole thing though, but I might buy one. Oh, you got one too, Nathan. All right, maybe it was on your stream that I saw you opening it. I remember seeing someone unboxing it. So yeah, so a Berlin project as well. So you got to chill it a bit. Nothing wrong with that, man. Nothing wrong with that. I don't mind you chilling a little bit on the channel. If it keeps people healthy and safe, that's the main thing. It's more a boring job, but they pay more, and it's much closer to home, and it's at the home improvement store. Nothing wrong with that then. Take what you can get, man. Any job's a good job. If it puts money in the bank and food on the table, that's what you want to get from a job. The amount of money is not everything. Job satisfaction plays a big part of life. It's one thing I've learned over the years. If I could go back and change a few things, I would do. But then at the same time, I'm really satisfied with what I do for a living, where I am, and how comfortable I am. Keyboards on the table, yes, maybe. Fund those prototypes, man. Also, I just got a text from Laser Boost. Their new plate they've cut me is on its way. Sure, I'll get the tracking for that over the bank holiday weekend, and hopefully that'll be here for the next time I stream as well, where we do an unboxing of my Endgame board that's on its way. Welcome back, man. Welcome back, Future Crime. Good to see you again, dude. I hope the chips were good. For those watching in America, those are fries. Okay, wow, that was fast. Mine is getting made on Monday. Yeah, they've done a good job of the plate. It was a design that you did for me for my Endgame board the other day, Martin. As I say, we'll hopefully unbox them both together on stream. The keyboard itself is currently in customs in the UK, so I'm expecting to get that Monday, Tuesday maybe. Yeah, definitely Tuesday actually now. And then hopefully the plate will be here at the same sort of time as well. And then hopefully we can do a build stream in a couple of weeks. Once I've sorted out switches and stabilizers and a few other bits and pieces, I just need to work out exactly how that build's going to work. But that is absolutely my Endgame board. Yeah, it'd be a good stream. Nathan, I think you'll enjoy that one as well. That's going to be a good build. I'm not going to tell anyone what the board is just yet. A few people know. But yeah, it's what I class as my end game. It's what I've been looking for since I got into the hobby. It's the one board that's constantly eluded me. Technically, it's the third one I've bought. The first one didn't turn up, and after about 15 messages to the seller, I got a refund and never got any tracking or anything like that. So I don't know what happened with that, but I got a refund, so it was fine. The second one that I bought turned up, and it was supposed to have multiple kits with it, as in spare plates and PCBs. Only it didn't, and what did turn up didn't work. So it was really worrying. Anyway, the guy was really generous about it. He managed to get a claim through DHL or whoever shipped it. I think it was DHL. We managed to sort that out, and no one was out of pocket, but obviously didn't have a board at the end of it. And then this third one looks like it's coming. Actually, Dixie Mech, some of you might know his store. He's actually sold me this board, and he's bought a Rama M65A in Tiffany blue to replace it. It's not a Rama board, I'll tell you that. But yeah, I'm looking really forward to getting the board, having a good look at it, unboxing it for the first time on stream. I've got a few other bits and pieces that will be unboxed at the same time as well. And we'll probably do that unboxing on the stream where I desolder the Nixie board. Yeah, and Pro, yeah, nice. MX Bruns are the switches. No, it's going to be Zelios in Panda housing, so Xanders or Pandelios depending on where you're from. It'd be really nice. Logitech with Roma Gs. Yeah, keep speculating, guys. Okay. 2 hours and 11 minutes in. And you're all still here with me. I'm really proud of you guys for staying with me. Really happy that you have done. It's a pleasure to stream for you guys sometimes. I love you all for it. Almost finished now. Then we'll really quickly we'll box this up, put some caps on it, and we'll decide on that bottom row. We'll do a quick sound type, and then I'll finish up everything else off stream, and then I'll get a video of the sound typing test up on YouTube probably tomorrow morning. I'm supposed to be going on a day trip out with the wife tomorrow, but it'll probably be tomorrow morning while she's getting ready. I'll have a chance to do the video. Might upload some more of the pre-recorded ones as well, from the history of my boards and the collection that I've got present. No, no plastic cases unless it's polycarbonate. Nothing wrong with polycarbonate. I still want Future Crime to sell me his polycarbonate LZST. That is one board that I would absolutely love to own, but I know it's never going to happen. He loves that board too much. Onto the space bar, so we're almost there now, folks. Give me a random number between 1 and 100. 76. Your first love. That board, man, it is filth. I was hoping you'd be at the meetup, dude, so I could show you my polycarbonate Singer and the polycarbonate Anzi prototype of Max's as well. Because I had both of those at the meetup, so it would have been lovely to have had those next to your LZST. You need to spill what the number was for, Max. What did sorry, Martin? What did you need that number for? Need to spill. Jumping across, we're at the arrow cluster now, so we've still got 2 switches or 3 switches on the bottom row to do. When we're putting keycaps on, we'll decide what looks better and how we want to play that, and then we'll solder it off stream. So we're almost there now. Just 3 more switches to go, including this one. Two more switches to go, including this up. There we go. Here we go, guys. Almost there now. And last switch. One more solder line to do. And there we go. All done. Nice and easy. Okay, so that's it all soldered up. There's the board all nicely done. So what we're going to do now is put the case together. So as I said before, this PCB and plate isn't held in by any screws as such. It slots in like so. That's how it sits. Then we take the top part of the case, we slide it over the top, just like so. Apologies for the loud noise. Is my TS100 colour match to my Datsun? That is the reason I bought it in that colour. Yeah, it's a very similar colour to one of my classic cars. It's not exactly the same, but that is the reason I bought that one when I was in the shop. It was either that or a black one. And yeah, that is why I bought it, Toby. So well spotted, good spot. Okay, 4 screws to just hold this in for now. We'll come back and put the last 2 screws in, but I don't want to put too many in when we've still got to solder in the last couple of switches. So I'm just going to tack this in. As always, diametrically opposed when screwing in switches and when screwing in screws. You never want to go down top and bottom. Just make sure it's aligned everything properly. Okay. Next week, Toby, I will do, don't worry. Okay, so there we go. That's the board built and put together. As you can see, it looks really nice. What we're going to do now is we are going to put some keycaps on it. So as I say, today what we've got is an OCO set, GMK, something or other, red on black. Can't remember exactly what it's called. It's a reasonably nice set. I'll go with black space bar. Screw my bottom. Woo. Okay. If someone can work out what the name of this kit is, I'd be interested to see. Sadly, we can't use step caps, which is my favourite caps. It would have looked nice on this board, but the plate doesn't support it. So we're just using the full-sized caps. Control. What else have we got in this set? The shift key for here. Tab. Not sure if it is Forge. Albrew, hey man, good to see you, dude. Good to see you. Your lube should be on its way. I'm not sure if you've received it as yet. What else have we got in this kit? That switch. And the shift. Just going to put in what we can do, guys. ZXC. One. I've got 3 bags of keys for this. I'm not sure what's in each bag, so we'll get there. Demonic. Yeah, it might be demonic. That's it. Yeah, that's it. We'll figure out the PayPal tomorrow. No worries about it, dude. We'll sort it out whenever you're ready. Glad the lube arrived there. That's really quick. That's only about a week. Not even a week. Matt, Pokemon Kid, good afternoon. Nice to see you, dude. Just making sure we count and put these in the right place. So we've got the rest of the keys in a couple of other bags, so we'll get there in a second. I thought you needed 2 shift keys for this board, but I forgot that you use ISO. Yeah, I need the short shift key from here. It'll be in one of the other bags. As I say, I've got 3 bags of keys for this. So I'm just going to sort out what I need and what I don't need. We'll need the arrow. We'll need that. We'll need that, that. Another arrow. Potentially need that. We'll need that, and that, and that. Shouldn't need the rest of those. Move them out of the way. Oh, we'll need that one. My handwriting is really nice. No, man, it's not. You're the second person that said that. My handwriting is awful and scruffy. I don't know how anyone could like it. Genuinely, it's weird. Kyle, have I sent you something? Do I? Oh, this is where I'm terrible with usernames, so I apologise, Kyle, if I know you. And I'm not recognising your username or putting 2 and 2 together here. What else do we need from this set? Don't need these. Potentially need that. Put the backspace key in. This kit has got UK ISO, which is nice. We'll need the letters. We'll come to them in a second. Don't need that. Potentially need that. Escape key. Love letters. Oh, nice. Great. Don't bag lube the tangerines, man. Don't bag lube the tangerines. We're going to go page up and page down on the 2 separate key cluster just because I think it looks nice. It's one of my favourite ways to lay these boards out. Caps lock. Sadly, as I say, we can't do stepped caps on this board, which would have been my preference, and that's literally because the plate doesn't support it. The PCB does, but the plate doesn't. Otherwise, we would have been using that as well. There's the shift key. So instead of just being ISO, this actually supports UK ISO as well, which is really nice. Everything from that bag, and then third and last bag. Oh, Tysonberg, yes, good to see you, man. I do know you now. Yes. That was one expensive love letter, man. Expensive love letter. Well worth it though. Well worth it. We've got Alt G. I will probably use that. Another arrow key. Let's get the arrows on there. I think we've got them all. Nope, not got them all. We'll find out. Okay, £3. Good key is that. Anything US ISO is not great, but UK ISO is brilliant. Number of F keys. We'll maybe change that escape up. We'll have a look in a second, see how the board looks. 4 and 6 are on. There's the other arrow key. Get the ISO enter in there. Little step caps, but not on GMK Pro profile. Lube letters. Ooh, yeah. Step caps is my favourite on all boards. Absolutely any board. Yeah, it's one of those things. If I'd done this came with ISO, you would have gotten it. So you had to ask for ISO specifically separate when you ordered this from Oko. Now I didn't get this from Oko myself. I got it from Teslatron. We did a bit of a deal and a swap for Lumina and some other bits and pieces, and this was part of the deal. So I've not actually looked at these keys since I got them. But he had to buy and ask Oko to send the ISO enter shit separately. So you can still get it from Oko with the ISO enter kit, but you can't get it from My Keyboard EU with the ISO enter kit because they don't have them, which slightly sucks, but it's something that I've checked out over the past week or so when someone else was asking me about the set. Okay, so I think we've got most of the keys here now, so we'll be able to build this up quite quickly. Okay, so let's start to get these keys in the board. That's the wrong key, that's a 0 key, not an O key. Okay. Get in there now, guys. ASD, F, G, H, J. Okay, L. We've got the X key. Yeah, we're going to go with the bars, not the what we call it keys today. Okay. Okay, it's starting to come together now. Okay, almost getting there, guys, and then we'll be able to do a quick sound test of the board for you, show you what it sounds like. Either that, or I'm going to find that I don't have all the keys for the board, but I'm sure they're here. Oh, that's one U. What key I was going to put that? There we go. It should be an Alt key. Just looking for that now. There it is. Didn't realise that was one U there. That's slightly frustrating. Let's catch up with chat a little bit. Step caps is best. Yeah, I agree with step caps. Nixies are a meme switch, but you can probably make money desoldering and flipping them. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to put them in the Noxia 268. I think that's going to be the way to do it. I don't know. I just spend over €300 on my turf and I can't even stand linear switches. What do 10 packs of Nixies go for? Nixies go for about $7 a switch, so give or take. So for 10 pack, you're going to be looking at somewhere between, I don't know, $60 and $70, I would imagine, something like that. It's really expensive. I've got 122 of them in my Nixie board. I'm going to desolder on stream next week. Right, let's just carry on putting these keys in the board. This is the bit that I'm terrible at. Trying to find the letters. There we go. All the keys should be here. But there's a lot of keys that we don't use. That's what part of the struggle. Done the giant F, they can go up there. That's the 0 key. Question mark. Need that. 8. I need that. You've seen it. And just the T key to go, which is there. And M. Just the M key left. And then we'll work out what we're going to do with the rest of the bottom row. And then we'll do the sound typing test. And you know what, guys? I can't see the M key. Now I found it. There we go. Okay, so we'll work out what we're going to do with the rest of this bottom row. In terms of spacing, what is it? Is that going to be 1.5 and then another 1.5 is most likely going to be the option. Yeah, so 2 1.5U. So that's what we're going to go with here. So what we'll do is we'll just drop it in like so. And then I'll go back and solder these later on. So it's interesting how the design, the clue board differs from this one. It has the 1U over here, whereas this board has the 1U to this side. Slightly interesting, it moves the bottom row that way slightly. It should be fine from a usability perspective, but we'll see how it is. But that is the keyboard 661 fully built with GMK Demonic. We'll make some stylistic choices on the key colours later on. Let's just catch up with chat for a second. Wouldn't normally be a fan of that set, but it's looking very nice on that silver. It does look good on silver. I agree, I like it. I didn't know if I was going to enjoy the set or not. I do. So it wouldn't really be worth it for $600. Probably not, man. They're really expensive. Yeah, really expensive. Nixies. I'll show you the Nixie board in a second if anyone wants to see it. Just post in chat if you want to see it. If someone posts, I'll get it out and show you. But yeah, so let's do a bit of a sound typing test on this board. So let me just turn the music off for 1 second, and then we'll see what that looks like. So there we go, that's the music removed. So here we go, sound typing test of lubed retooled blacks in a keyboard 661. Not fully screwed together, but it should be tight enough to get a good sound. So let's see what it sounds like. There we go. It sounds pretty good to me. The switches are really heavy actually. 125 gram sprit springs. Look at the fingers go. Yeah, I can't touch type, guys. So I can touch it. I don't need to look at the keyboard as such, but I don't type properly, to say the least. And recently, since I saw Chris Swires do this and start hitting the space with his forefinger, I can't stop doing it. I've kind of triggered myself to it. But yeah, these are 125 gram sprit springs. I've got them lying around somewhere. Here we go, 125 gram sprit springs. That's what's in this board. Linears I have to have really, really heavy. Just the way I am, but they do sound really nice. Again, I'll do a little bit of typing for you. There we go. It is quite interesting, yeah. So the sound develops quite nicely, especially on the bottom rows. It sounds a bit dead up at the top. Sounds much nicer down here. Yeah, it is much nicer down at the bottom. But I think the whole sound's really nice actually. For a cheap board, I think it sounds great. Especially when you hear the ping of the board itself and you flick it. Yeah, it's much better than I expected, Quare. I agree with you completely. 150 grams springs in space with springs caps lock switch. Yeah, so I do like a heavier space bar on nearly every key set that I use. So normally I will use 78 gram tactile switches, and I'll put a 100 gram or 110 gram switch in for the space bar, the ISO enter, and the backspace as well. And I've started using locking MX lock switches for caps lock as well. But I tend to use shift as caps lock when I control as caps lock when I program a board, so it is a little bit different. But yeah, I'm really impressed with the sound of that. I'll do a proper sound typing test video later on and post that up, but I'm really impressed. Just let's compare it to the Mech Mini 2. This also has retooled blacks lubed in exactly the same style, but it's a very different board. So let's just listen to the sound difference. Okay, and then this. So you can see that this is much deeper in terms of sound, but this is much quieter. I suspect, as Martin says, is the fact that this has got an acrylic bottom and it's letting the sound echo out through it a little bit better. But it is interesting. So that's how different the same switches can sound in two different boards. And these switches are actually slightly heavy. These are 130 gram ones in this one, and these are 125. So they are slightly different, but they're lubed in exactly the same way. So there we go. If there's any boards anyone wants a sound typing test while I'm on stream, then let me know. I've got a ton of boards sat at the side of me. Max, do you want to see the ANSI actually before I ship it off to Chris at the end of this week? So probably on Saturday morning. So this is the ANSI, and I've had this on stream before. This is Max's board that he's designed, and this is the prototype. So it has a lovely weight design on the bottom. Here we go. There you go. A lovely weight design on the bottom, made out of polycarb. I've put some SA switches on here because I like SA keycaps. So this sounds really, really good from a polycarb perspective. So just have a listen to this, guys. So there we go. So it's not the it sounds ace. It feels amazing. There's some revisions that Max is doing for the second round. It's not built in ISO, which you can tell means I didn't build it. It's using tangerine switches, but lubed to Max specification. It is polycarbonate. And it sounds so good. So tangerine switches, the C3 tangerines. Just out of interest, if you want to hear those in another polycarb board, I can do that as well. So hold on, let me show you. So this is my polycarbonate Singer. So again, it's the same material, very different board, but same switches, but using a GMK keycap set. So here we go, just do a bit of a sound test of this. So there you go. So this one is absolutely one of my favourite boards. Max actually built this for me. He put this together while I was on honeymoon. It's absolutely one of my favourite boards to use. The polycarbonate is lovely. The keycaps are great. The switches are fantastic. But the ANSI, this board is going to be one of my end games as soon as Max lets me buy. That's again different switches, different boards. That's how they sound. So. Again, keycaps do help, so SA on this does sound very different to GMK or Cherry or anything like that. It does sound very different on that board to this board, but yeah, it's really, really good. Which alphas are you wanting, Toby? The Space Cadet ones? No, you're not having them. Nathan's unzipping his pants because of the polycarb singer. Shame SA space bars make everything sound trash. That's 4 different space bar sounds for you. I don't mind any of them. I think they all sound great. One thing I will be interested in is how the ISO enter sounds on this board. On the board we've just built today. On the polycarb singer. And on this, I'll just do the normal enter, but just so thocky and deep. It's really nice. Such a lovely board to type on. It's just really, really nice. Really nice. Yep, so that's it. That's everything built and done. So this is the board I built today. I'm really impressed with this for the price. I think this kit is amazing. It's really good value for money. Keyboard 661, quite high at the front. I'll see how we get on with it. I'll try using it for a few days, see how we get on with it once it's programmed. Really impressed with the sound. Really impressed with the sound actually. In fact, that sounds really nice up here. I'll finish off putting the 2 switches together. Didn't decide on the bottom row. Give it a bit of a clean, and then we'll get a sound typing test video up in the next couple of days for you as well. Let me make a sound test of one. You want to do the ANSI? That is going up on YouTube tomorrow. I've already recorded the video of the sound test of that one. Nathan, I'd love to see what you could do with one as well. In fact, I might ping you, Nathan, a bit of a secret link to something later on. Try and keep you involved in it. Kyle says the board is straight out of a dystopian future. You've not seen the Hyper 7 then, man. I'll get the Hyper 7 out on the next stream to show you, because that's ridiculous. And it's almost finished being built. And the other thing I will be doing on the stream where we start to desolder is fixing the CA66. So the CA66 has a bit of an issue with sound whereby it's too echoey. So I'll just rest that there for a second. I'll show you this. This is the CA66 with SA Nautilus on. But if you listen to this carefully, there's a lot of ping in there. So one of the things I'm going to try and do on the next stream when we desolder the Nixie board is just try and pad out the bottom of the inside of this case with some Dynamat, just to try and take away that ping noise and try and give it a nice resonating sound that come through it. And shout out to Glove for the nice space bar he's done me here. Just show that on camera. Look how nice that space bar is. Such a lovely artisan. So yeah, we'll go from there. I'm not spray foaming it, Tobbles, but yeah, we'll go from there. Martin's got a question. Go on then, if you've got a question before we finish the stream. And we've got James in the chat. James, you joined so late. I hope H is with you. Say hi for me. You didn't know I was streaming. Well, follow and then you'll get a notification. Simple as that. You're thinking of offering a pre-cut piece of Dynamite with a mini or something? Yeah, so I saw Chris Swire's sound test on this. I don't mind the sound of it. I don't think it's terrible. But I do think that it probably does need a little bit of thin foam. If you want, I'll link you to what foam I think you should use, because it's kind of like a reflective material as well. So it allows the sound to develop, but it also pads it out and it takes away the echo and the ping, which is what I'm going to use in this. So I will send you a link to that if you remind me. What board was today, James? I'll show you really, really quickly. Let me just move all these other boards out of the way. Today's board build was a keyboard 661 with GMK Demonic, retooled blacks lubed, which would be a bit of a lubing session on as well, with Crytox 104. So yeah, that's the build today. James, just for you. There we go. Nathan, you want to see the Nixie board stock and do a quick sound test of that? I can arrange that for you. Give me 1 second, good sir. So I'm going to have to try and move things out to get a bit of room here. Apologies for the noise, moving keycaps around, never quiet. So this is the stock Nixdorf board from Siemens Nixdorf, as you can see up here in the top corner. I've not actually typed on this yet, so I was going to do a typing test, but this is a first. This is first for me, first for you guys. I've not actually typed on it yet, but just to show you guys that it is a Nixie board. There you go, Nixie switches. Try and get the camera to focus on those. There you go, full of Nixie switches, Nixie goodness. So here we go. So as I say, I've never listened to this or sound of it before, so here we go, we'll do a bit of a test on it. So there you go. What do you think to that? It's very interesting, a little bit pingy. Very solid feeling though, very solid feeling. I really like this actually. Yeah, I really like that. I think one of the things I do want to do with this is once I've desoldered it to take the nixies out, what I want to do is retro bright the whole thing, rebuild it, and put vintage blacks in it. That's what I'm going to do. Take one type of vint black out to put another type of vint black in. But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a project, so that'll probably take a bit of time. But I also want to reprint all of this inlay in here. So there's a lovely little inlay in here where you can program the different buttons to do different things. The other interesting thing as well is I do want to try and convert it to USB. I don't know if it's ever been done. I have been talking with Thomas Cryosan about it. I sent him an email the other day about that. So hopefully we'll be able to come up with something together so I can convert it to USB. But yeah, there we go. Not sure if there's any more questions. There's on that Nixidorf remake when DIY kit on $1,300 maybe. Do they exist in ANSI? Do you know what? I have no idea if Nixie boards come in ANSI. I don't think that they do, but I do love these keycaps. So even if I wasn't keeping the board, one thing I would do is build a 60% with these keycaps because they're absolutely lovely. This spacebar is phenomenal. The spacebar is actually curved on top of it inwards. It's concave, not convex like all other spacebar. So your thumb rests really nice on it, and I've been typing with my finger. Your fingers also rest really nicely on it as well. Yeah, they only come in German. I knew they only come in German, but I don't know if they did an ANSI version or not. But they do have this lovely little at key down here. The layout's just really nice, lovely, and clearly this has been looked after, well used but looked after. It's relatively clean underneath. Interestingly, it comes with black stabilizers as well. Bizarrely, I don't know why, but it does. But yeah, that's the Nick Stuff board. ISO DE, yeah. So if there's no more questions, I'll give you guys another minute or so to pop some questions in the chat. Watch out for the sound typing tests coming up on YouTube. The ANSI will be on there. The new keyboard 661 will be on there. There's 4 or 5 on there already. I've got about another 30 recorded. I just need to sort them out, but that'll take time. So they'll probably go up in a bit of a different order. I will do a sound typing test on this. I'll get that on there as well. Thanks, James. You're not as nice as yours. And we'll take it from there and we'll see where we get to. But I think that's it for this stream today. Looking forward to seeing it at London next year. Yes, it will be at London. It probably won't have the Nick Stuff switches in by then. It'll probably have vintage blacks, but it will be there. And I will try and get it all nicely cleaned up as well for that anarchy. But yeah. Marin did a typing test of NZ2. Yes, he did. That's on YouTube as well. So Marin, also known as Pusha, did a typing test of the ANSI when he had it before it came to me. So that's on there as well. And Fight Our says, I'm German, so that's great, but the keycaps are so nice, and German keycaps are hard to get hold of, so we deserve at least one good set. Very true. I'm absolutely all for buying international kits of any set that I buy, because I use ISO on every board, and it really frustrates me when I can't get the keys that I want, never mind when anyone else can't get them. So I'll always try and support ISO DE or Nord kits or whatever else there is, and always try and grab those. Glue's just messaged me privately and said he has to leave to run some errands, but those Nixies sound so sweet. Thank you, dude. I miss you, Glue. We need to hang out a bit more. And yet, Querdanker's just doing one last shill for the episode of the International Kit, which is a new podcast that Quer and Egler run. They were kind enough to invite, as strange as it sounds, me onto their first podcast, which I feel eternally grateful for. It was one of the best experiences I've had. I really enjoyed doing that. And I'd love to go back on their show and do another guest spot at some point, or a stand-in host if one of them on holiday or anything like that. I'll put it out there now, guys. I'm absolutely up for doing that with you guys. Yeah, so do feel free to check out the International Kit. Listen to me whine on for about an hour about the Hyper 7 and everything else that's good in there, and those two asking me some really challenging questions. And that's about it. Yeah, we'll wrap up the stream for there, guys. I'll be back soon, as I say, desoldering this bad boy. fixing the CA66 and doing a few of the little bits and pieces, a few of the chores around keyboards. But that's pretty much it for this stream. Watch out for the videos and watch out for the VOD. The VOD of this will be on YouTube, so Anarchy, you can check that out there on YouTube later on. And thank you very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And I'll speak to you all again soon. See you later, guys.